Hello? I didn't realize that it was in 7/20/30. Why didn't anyone say that earlier? What the fuck? Okay, so I'm back now. It should be 1080/60. Right? Any confirmers? Because the internet's shit? I thought it was on purpose. I don't think the internet is shit. It's just, I don't know. I think it's something weird to do with these YouTube VODs. I don't know. Confirmer? Thank you. Excellent. Excellent.
Rápidamente 5 para 3 comienzan el plantado de la Spike, ronda económica que no le va a ayudar mucho a la escuadra de Cloud9. Plantan la Spike, ya está lista la lonchera y la situación.
Put it back on 7/20/30. I think you can do that, can't you? I think you can do that in the options.
Está esperando a su dual Whippy que se iba. Seguimos castigando por parte de Vanity que ya se llevó a cabo con esa Marshall. Continúa el daño, el 2 contra 4. Hay superioridad por parte de los
De Cloud9 decidieron dejarlo abierto.
Okay, so now we've got a rifle round, round 5.
Para la quinta ronda en un 4-0 en el marcador.
Así es,
and Furia's mixed things up.
Y es momento de que
Who's coaching Furia this year? I can't remember. Koi. Oh, this is the Union coach, isn't it? No. Not the Union coach. Where did the Union coach go again? Went to Loud. Yeah. Okay, so the Union... Yes, yeah. Union coach went to Loud. Furia got the Keyed Stars coach. Right. Because I like what they're cooking in this rematch game. Look, so in the previous game, like I said, they were mostly trying to take A control early. Sometimes they were pathing mid like this. And sometimes they were just going for B explodes by double swinging window as well. So they were doing all sorts of this stuff. This game, because it's a rematch, pistol round they went like this. Bonus round they went like this. They hadn't done that at all in the previous game, not once. Then they do something standard on the anti-eco. Now it's the first rifle round, yeah? And they do something completely different. They're holding like, they're making it, I think they're making it seem like this, and then they're going to group up and go B. But they're doing, you know, they had a very set game plan for the beginning few rounds. It definitely feels like, you know, coach has come up with a game plan for this match kind of beat. I assume they're going B here with the KO ult to get rid of the trips too. But the Knifers caught them, so C9 have some info about this. And the Cypher's holding on the other side, so actually C9 have read this really nicely.
Aún muchos jugadores que están tratando de adueñarse del side de B, ojito con Vanity.
Snacks, thank you for the 37 months. Escudo, thank you for the Prime as well.
¿De dónde pueden estar? Van a empezar a avanzar por la zona media. Puertas de B, de la zona media, puede ser donde se van a encontrar. ¡Ojito! ¡Ay, lo que acabo de fallar! Lo que acabo de fallar, Oxy. Dios mío, lo que tenía Oxy era la bala necesaria para llevarse dos jugadores.
Good timing from Liazi, Conan, Khalil to get in through B main here. I like this. They're not just waiting for MW. Oh, Jake's hitting with the popping swing. Good round from Liazi though. Not a good pit. I think most Viper players should have an idea of how they want to pit in these kind of situations. I think these ones are pretty shit because they don't allow you to get into backside. They don't allow you to hug a wall and like limit which way people are coming from, and they just kind of trap you on site. They should still win the 2v1 anyway, but I don't think this is a great pit. You have to watch all directions. The retaker could come from anywhere. Is MW the only returning player to Furia? No, they have Khalil as well.
Shepard se lo lleva. Tiene tiempo todavía. Dios, cómo juega este hombre solo. Comienza a piquear ahí la Spike. Le van a salir con la espalda, sí, señores. A la rueda, rueda. Ahí está. A la rueda, rueda.
Oh, I like the way that Khalil's played this.
Otra vez, señores. Comienzan a jugar, a bailar. No le pega. Sale corriendo. Ahí está.
Lovely play by Khalil. Big round there from Liazi, though. That is the first instance where we've seen the Furia players who are not MW really step up and help hit a site. MW and Havoc were hitting from one direction. The other three were coming from B main. And when MW and Havoc got bogged, the others actually stepped up and took space, which we haven't really seen that before.
Posiblemente 2-0, pero no hay que desmeritar el trabajo que ha hecho Cloud9 en toda la competición. Es un equipo fuerte y por eso hoy está acá en el Superdome Latam. ¿Pueden remontar? Sí, hemos visto a Cloud9 en ciertas competiciones haciendo unos comeback impresionantes, pero por ahora el dominio lo tiene Furia. Nos vamos para la sexta ronda. Ahí está rápidamente la Cyber Jaula replegándose hacia atrás y la tormenta de cuchillas de Oxy que comienza a rushar. Ahí estaba, sí señores, lo dibuja. Ahí estaba, lo concreta. La última se la pega al pecho.
Little reaction here from Furia. Good call, I think, from Conan.
Ya el equipo de plantado empieza a entrarle así. Está.
La última se la pega al.
Look at this flash from Havoc. Look at this flash. Havoc stood here, and he throws like a dum dum dum. Like it just kind of like rolls through the bottom of the wall for Conan to swing on. Look at it. And then Conan swings through. It doesn't actually catch on Zephyr, though. In fact, there's plenty of positions it wouldn't catch on, because if you throw a low flash here, this wall is going to block it for a lot of people. Isn't it? Not for everybody, but for quite a few people.
Ya el equipo de plantado empieza a entrarle así. Está
maybe not. He kind of acted like that was some kind of lineup. I've never seen that before, though.
Castigo también por parte de Havoc para su doble chepa que se iba. Nos quedamos únicamente con Oxy, Vanity, Whippy, que quieren tratar de alguna forma frenar a los brasileños, pero no han podido. Sigue el castigo. Es Vanity el único que aguanta, el único que puede por lo menos tratar de
yeah, Furia look pretty decent, though, in these kind of situations. We've seen them before in spots like this where they're stopping a team from retaking by double fighting in one direction and then double fighting in the next. It's not that they're using their utility, but they're got like discipline enough to play together so that they're constantly double facing in post-plant situations like this. Rose swung through the wall with his flash while pulling his knife out. Wait, did he? Did Conan swing through with his knife out?
De Whippy Shepa y solamente la ulti disponible, el ataque neuronal de Khalil. Otro monimo más. Comienzan a rushar. Nos vamos en estos momentos para la séptima ronda. La Operator. Ahí rápidamente Musera sacando información y comenzaron a jugar totalmente estaqueados. Bueno, casi un estándar porque tenemos a Khalil también esperando a ver quién rota por side de B.
Está siempre por ahí Khalil esperando, tratando de ver si puede por lo menos castigar a algunos jugadores que haga rotación de fan, algo que le puedan brindar de información. No quiere esperar un poco más, tal vez, ¿por qué no?, para darles las calls necesarias a los jugadores por si tienen que hacer una rotación de fan. Creo que algo pasaba, algo.
How is MW going to find a pick here? There's already 40 seconds off the round.
Todavía con el ingreso al side de A, lanzamos drone para información, no hay contacto con ninguno.
He's just hoping he'll be able to find someone that rotates. That's really unlikely, I think. This is where I'd love to see. This is where I'd really like to see Khalil starting to get aggressive. I think rounds like this, where the main part of your team is getting slowed down, they've already made a call to do something else, though. They're not just waiting for MW to do something. Conan's called for Liazi and Havoc to rotate off. So what are Liazi, Havoc, and Khalil going to do?
Aguantando, perdón, a Jake, que estaba aguantando todavía en un pixel a tratar de levantar.
They're just going to try and hit B, maybe? It's not like Khalil controls these angles. I would have liked to see Khalil try to face B main earlier than this.
La escuadra de Furia, que a pesar de que van ganando varias rondas, deciden respetar a Cloud9, porque Cloud9 es un equipo de sorpresa. Si te encuentras mal posicionado, te pueden comenzar.
Okay, so now they're trying to pull people over to B and then split A. Conan's definitely trying to work the map here. He's definitely trying to call some interesting mid-rounds. But now there's 30 seconds left, and you've got two players still over towards B. and you have to hit.
Para sacar rondas consecutivas. Tiene que estructurarse el mental. En estos momentos, Oxy, ahí estaba. Yo te dije, papá, se va Conan. Condición de 5 para 4 guerra operator. Si Miusera le dice, así se juega la OP. Se lleva al homónimo. Condición de 4 para 4. Comienza a repegar rápidamente Elías. Y se lleva Jake. Ahí estaba rápidamente entrando también Havo, que se lleva Shepa. Otra vez la morde.
Good coordination though between Liazzi and MW. MW spots out where Vanity's playing, and then where Jake is playing, and then Liazzi goes up to try and deal with him. Liazzi and Havoc playing fairly close together as well. A bit more bold than the last time that we saw them when they were coming through double doors. In the previous VOD, I mean. I think they only did it like once or twice, but yeah, it looks better.
De la víbora, ahí estaba también hacia atrás, 11 segundos, planta la spike, situación de 4 para 2 y el retake para Cloud9.
Estoy muy preocupado en este momento porque lo que está sucediendo, la forma...
God, they're destroying them. Honestly, yeah, I really came away from Convergence with the impression that Conan's calling did not look very good, but the more I'm looking at it here, the more I think his attack side calling is actually pretty good. He's calling some interesting mid-rounds.
De A y lo siguen haciendo nuevamente con Cloud9.
Dios mío, lo que está pasando. 7-0, ronda 8, oportunidad.
In the slower rounds, anyway.
Cambie la historia. No sé si puede
In the
hacer
faster
lado, no sé si
rounds,
puede hacer
well,
lugar, no sé
things
si
are
puede
still
hacer la
getting a bit
intención.
messy.
Vamos a ver de qué manera Cloud9 puede por lo menos generar algún cambio en lo que está sucediendo. Pero por
Yeah,
noticias,
I saw that,
el
Amor
barco de la
and Rick.
revista está diciendo
They did
que
an interview
Furia
with
se
Pedro
puede estar
Romero where they
llevando
said that
este mapa
they were
también.
focusing on
Siguen
building the
aguantando, están
discipline.
esperando. Hay un estándar
I think
por
that's going to
acá.
be very difficult with this
Rápidamente
team
MW se
because
suma al ataque que viene por medio,
because it's built around
tratando de
MW,
investigar. Buen bloqueo
and that
visual,
guy is
tratando
not
de
exactly
buscar.
discipline incarnate.
Viene la maravillosa OP, ojito que Oxy
But if they manage to get that,
estaba tratando de evadirse. Tiene una Guardian y obviamente MW.
if they manage to get that going and they try to play it more slowly, and Conan can call well, they could do damage.
Uno de los grandes jugadores idolistas de la escuadra de Furia comienza a refraguear buscando un wall.
What is this? What is this Discord image? Another A split, doing so many A splits.
El comando null que inicia rápidamente, pero también la Fosa Viper se activa y estaba rápidamente. Lo mandan a dormir, le resetean el Windows, se quedan hacia atrás.
Outrageous amount of A splits happening here from Furia. They've just found something that works and Cloud9 can't stop it.
En este momento 3-3, pero Conan bastante lastimado. MW.
That's Mr. X. What is this? Yes, that is Mr. X. I don't know where this image has come from, but I have seen it before.
Será que tiene que venir a buscar de alguna forma. Siguen plantando, intentando plantar. Spike plantada, la línea defensiva tiene el tic-tac en contra. Recorrido de MW. Será que está tratando de ver. Se encuentra con Jake, que estaba mejor ubicado. Tenemos oportunidad. Cloud9 empieza a despertar. Casi una flecha que intentaba levantar información, pero no estaba. 2 contra 1. Ricky Jake contra el jugador Conan, el detective. El detective evitando, el detective aguantando. Disparo en pie.
7-1. Everyone at Desfears. It's always 7-1. Always 7-1. Come on.
Operators preparadas, Oxy, Operator, Oxy, MW.
Oh, so now they're trying to take A main really heavily?
Termina castigando, ojito. Oxy ya tenía información, ya sabía por lo menos dónde se encontraba Liazzi para poder avisar que se encontraba merodeando.
This time Oxy is much more aggressive down mid though. So if they do try to go back into an A split, they're going to have to go through Oxy.
Se pueden empezar a volver 4 si rápidamente llega Liazzi, ojito. El avance, empiezan a bloquear completamente.
So they're going to insert MW and go back into an A split? Is that what we're looking at here?
Por parte de los jugadores de Cloud9 que creen saber en este momento qué pasa, pero cambian la misión, parece que cambia la información y nos vamos para el otro side.
Okay, Khalil's getting a little aggressive over towards elbow. Oh, and that recon dart? I think he heard the footsteps of Oxy. Yeah, he definitely did. He's worried about being punished from Nest.
Información completa por parte del jugador Khalil.
I was going to say, this is where I'd like to see MW swap the op to somebody else, like Conan, for example. But sure, Just have your jet dash in and then get the op entry kill. Why not? Just MW things. Why not? Hello. Play.
Estaba haciendo el buen trabajo del urqueo. Ya tenemos.
It's actually voice activated YouTube these days.
Algo que acaba de salvar a MW será que muy fea esa bala. Obviamente también el trabajo en equipo funciona perfecto. MW será castigando. Shepa que se va con una bala whip y que en este momento queda completamente en soledad. Está por aquí y Khalil lo sabe. Está por acá y Khalil lo sabe. Lo encuentra. Castiga.
Donde comienzan a forzar la economía que pueda la escuadra de Cloud9.
Así es, continúa Khalil haciendo el buen
The
trabajo
calling here is
de
nice.
esperar en el side contrario a donde está la Spike. Quiere levantar información, quiere de alguna forma saber en dónde se encuentran los jugadores.
So now C9 are going to try and get aggressive.
En el camino, Quito,
there's so much damage inside there. Inside
quiere
there.
llevarse un par de kills,
What the
pero
fuck?
no lo lograba. Era Javo que se llevaba a Jake.
How did they get the read on that? Is that just based off a flash being used only by Zeppelin?
Para la línea defensiva, vamos viendo.
Can you leak to us who Uber's casting with? I actually still don't know. I didn't ask him. I will know before you know, but I haven't asked anyone yet.
Menos en donde se encuentra Havoc y van a empezar a presionar, claro que no, farmeo de orbe y empezamos a rotar. Khalil que sigue allá marcado con una.
I don't really care about knowing that stuff until it happens. So I don't ask. I'm like, I guess I'll figure it. I'll find out later. So
La estándar que está
I'm not desperate to
bien, la
know.
escuadra de Furia, ahí estaba el cable trampa, lo destruye. Ojo con Vanity que
Do you
tiene
cast
la
tomorrow?
Buki.
Yeah, yeah.
La Buki la tiene ahí rápidamente, también activa el punto
Alright,
cero.
so now we're seeing the ult come through from Havoc.
Tomar una foto, queda totalmente denegado. Vanity que se queda hacia atrás.
Your Vanity gets a kill with the Bucky. Sliggy's favorite weapon.
Y a reiniciar ahí rápidamente a Havoc que otra vez se posiciona.
Do you have no interest in your friends? I mean, I'll see him at some point. It's, you know, I don't really get in touch with people very often, chat.
Y soluciona el caso con la tranquilidad que limpiaba en la parte de atrás. Solo nos quedan dos.
If I happen to see someone, I'll talk to them.
El movimiento de 4 contra 1. Shepa, el robot, nuestro robot favorito, quiere intentar, ¿por qué no llevarse una baja? ¿Cómo le baila?
Is Bren doing all right? I think so. Actually, he messaged me this morning, so I know Bren's all right.
Saben a la samba. Castigo por parte de Shepa, pero Khalil.
Un ataque es una cosa impresionante, jugando muy bien acompañado también de Shepa. Pueden buscar algún comeback. Llega el orbe venenoso, nos vamos para la 11ª ronda. La operator que ya la tiene Musera o MW Sera, apuntando hacia puerta doble, la mordedura de la víbora. También está
Oxy's getting more aggressive this time. They've managed to pressure Khalil further back at the start of these rounds. So now they've got a different situation happening. So Conan's gonna call to accelerate into an A split. They flash behind them to see if they can catch anybody reacting. Oh, so they fake an A split and then try to catch the people that would be reacting to the A split. But once they don't get a pick off the back of that, they should probably just commit into A or slow the round down. But instead, they're continuing to like accelerate up mid. And I'm not huge on that. Oh, that could have worked though. Go on, go for the wall back. So now they're going to turn this into an A split. Whippy though, in a hard anchor spot, manages to pick up the Yahtzee. And it's 9-2. Okay, that's about the first time where Conan's call. Maybe that's not even Conan as well. But anyway, the team's call is a bit off. I do like the idea of reacting A. I also quite like the idea of reacting A, stopping, turning around, dealing with the person behind you. I think that's a great idea. Quite a complex idea for Furia. But then they didn't find anything. And they didn't slow the round back down again. They just failed to find a pick in mid and then continued going into the A site, which at that point is going to be fairly well defended. So, not a bad idea, but
abajo, Whippy.
the next
Limpiaba,
layout
mantenía,
didn't quite seem to be
aguantaba,
there.
quería que su side estuviera totalmente tranquilo y se llevan la segunda. Quieren seguir peleando, no se quieren rendir.
Do you think Furia have a
Creen en
chance
el
of beating
9-3, creen en
NRG?
absolutamente
Yeah,
todo lo que les pueda ayudar.
but I think it's only if NRG aren't playing
Empezaba también a bajar un poco el mental.
particularly well. But you know, NRG might struggle to get off the to get a running start. They don't have somebody with a lot of calling experience. They haven't had a huge amount of time together. They haven't played in any off-season tournaments. Their roles are probably going to be mixing around quite a lot. There is some reason to think that NRG might start the year a little slow. It's possible. It's possible. It's hard to know until we watch them play.
Después de mucho tiempo de tratar de hacer una lectura, Cloud9 en esta la efectúan de una manera correcta y Whippy sentenciando la segunda ronda para la escuadra de Cloud9. Nos vamos para la última ronda.
Yo, go and Rome.
Segunda
Thank you for the 5
la
gifted
economía
subs.
full.
The ancient tome arrives again. Thank you for the 5 gifteds, go and Rome.
Va y se van todos, solamente un escudo liviano que tenemos por parte de Shepa. Y ahí tenemos a Oxy. Ojo con Oxy que ya está comenzando a adelantar las puertas dobles.
Así es, vamos viendo rápido. Oxy no quiere aguantar, no quiere esperar, quiere tomar a la gente por sorpresa, pero también el equipo está por completo en el side de A. Quieren entrar levantando información mientras Khalil también está a la expectativa. Quiere saber si alguno de los jugadores rota por la espalda. No va a estar tan anclado. Va a tener de pronto un contacto con Oxy. Khalil y Oxy pueden estar próximos a enfrentarse. Por ahora doble pared para tratar de evitar humos por todas partes y no dejan que la visual sea tranquila y nos quedamos con un momento de calma.
Por ahora se van descontando los segundos, menos de un minuto, ya queda a continuación, 12ª ronda, la última ronda antes del cambio de lado. La flecha lista y disponible de Conan para sacar información, pero tiene la furia del cazador. Ojo.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I was about to say this is a little late into the round here and Furia haven't come up with an idea of what they want to do, but god damn, what a flash from Havoc. Couldn't get any better than that.
Khalil cayó rápidamente. Le pegó la segadora. Jugaron muy bien ese macro y acuesta
Holy
a
fuck.
Oxy. Le quita al operator. Por ahora la condición se mantiene por un 5-4.
Qué buen trabajo por parte de nuestro querido Khalil y obviamente la
that's
buena
overall.
impulsión de equipo.
Oh, Conan is almost killing his own team with this overall because they all went through the snake bite.
Ahora el trabajo es de plantar. Qué cantidad de humo que hay en el site, pero no evitaron que Jake está aguantando.
This is where Khalil needs to come and help his team instead of lurking as well.
Información de dónde
This part to Furia's attack side still seems a bit off because this is what Liazi was also doing on Lotus. Staying as the hard lurk too long. Like there's 25 seconds left here. Or like 30 seconds left here. And his team hasn't been able to get into sight. So he needs to go and help.
está, por lo menos Havoc tiene que moverse, perfecto para Jake, recorrido a través de la pared, no quiere cogerlos de sorpresa, tomarlos de sorpresa, Lazy Havoc.
Vanity and Jake go for the play, and
porque el
both
único
die.
que pega no es MW, sino
So,
también
actually,
está
I guess
preparado.
Khalil doesn't
Shepa
need to
en
help
soledad puede ser algo demasiado épico, ¿por qué no? Dime que lo vas a hacer, Shepa. ¿Lo vas a hacer, Shepa? ¿Lo puedes intentar, Shepa? Lo está intentando, Shepa. Lo quiere hacer, lo quiere intentar. Todos sabemos en qué va a terminar, pero él quiere cambiar la historia. Castigo y demasiado daño por todas partes. Ya le están haciendo ruido, le están haciendo castigo. No quieren permitirle por absolutamente nada que esté tranquilo. Qué ansiedad. Ya se quitó el pick para que no sepan en dónde está. Va a avanzar. Quiere llevarse a Khaled, que lo Khaled contesta. No, Shepa se lleva.
They don't do it every round, Rush Up. I think they just need to be a little bit more mobile with it when it's a good time to do it versus when it's not a good time to do it. Come on, come on. What's my opinion on Yay and Bleed?
Para Furia,
Very hard to know. Extremely difficult to know. Because Bleed have changed up multiple players on their roster.
pipas. Y vamos a ver qué va a pasar. Porque por ahora Furia está demostrando
If they have a good
de
team
que
system,
Brasil
if
tiene
they
un
figure out
gran,
good
gran roster con
ways of
Furia para
like
romper
getting
lo que viene
Darion
el
on
otro
hard
año.
entry
Llega
and
en este
Yay
momento la
playing
zona de
Chamber,
2.0,
or
hacia atrás
getting
va
Yay
Oxy,
playing
sin
Jet
pasada
and
de la
Darion
raya.
playing Raze or something, then yeah, it could work.
Yusera corresponde a Whippy, condición de 3 para 4. Ahí
No,
estaba la
amigos.
triple de
No,
Yusera.
amigos.
¿Cómo pegas, manito? por favor, revisen a este hombre que está que pega. Dios mío, una cosa
Any
impresionante.
co-streams you'd recommend for the APAC games tonight?
Señor.
The APAC games are not tonight. Wait, do you mean... You don't mean VCT then? Do you mean something else?
En este momento tenemos ya a 3 jugadores del equipo de Cloud9 caídos. Vanity que tiene que venir a tratar, a buscar, ¿por qué no plantando Spike? Para poder ya
It is today? Well, I guess it depends what time zone you're
el
in.
daño, el castigo por parte de Jake. Jake que quiere, Jake que ayuda. Planta tú que yo te cuido. El 2 con...
Yeah, it's over 24 hours from now. It's like 29 hours from now, so it couldn't possibly be today. Like, the Pacific games start about 29 hours from right now. I'm actually going to do a co-stream of T1 Bleed. I got permissions to do the co-stream. I can do all the co-streams for all the regions if I want, but it's just too much staying awake, basically. So I'm only going to do T1 Bleed, and then after that, we'll raid somebody else who's doing the next game. Because I can't... I want to get on a good sleep schedule here on West Coast, and I want to get on a good sleep schedule for doing the EMEA games. So I don't want to stay up very late doing the Pacific games. But that T1 Bleed match starts at 10 p.m. instead of midnight. Most of the days start at midnight, apparently. Or at least West Coast. So I'll do T1 Bleed. But that might be the only game that I co-stream of the entirety of Pacific Kickoff, unfortunately. I would like to do more, but they're just, the time doesn't quite work.
Sí, perfecto. El dardo que hacía su trabajo, ya saben en dónde se encuentra Khalil, pero ojito con Khalil, ojito con Khalil, ojito con Khalil, ojito con el centinela.
Okay, I think we've seen enough of Furia at this point. Okay, so to sum up, let's try and sum up some thoughts about Furia. So, I think MW0's obviously on fire. I think the aggressive way in which he plays is extremely good on certain maps, like Breeze defense, and I think it'll be good on Icebox defense as well. But I don't think it's as good on maps where the defense is favored by playing more setups, stuff like Ascent. But I think he's still going to be very difficult to deal with. I think you need to disrespect MW a little bit in order to punish him. As in, you can't just hide from him the entire time. And I think NRG will be able to do that. I think that MW could improve his game a little bit just by trying to pause at certain moments to wait for Havoc or Liazzi to like get closer to him, or sometimes Conan to like get closer to him to play aggressively. I think that Conan's attack side calling was actually pretty impressive. They had some nice ideas on their attack side. The things that I think that they could improve on, I think that Havoc's individual decision making, his supportive utility is really good, but his individual decision making and Liazzi's is going to need to be much better if they're going to beat NRG. And I still think that they need to activate Khalil a bit more. He needs to be getting more aggressive on his lurks. And I think on defense, MW needs to create some space for Khalil just by not playing as aggressively. Sometimes. Like, not playing in front of Khalil's Sentinel utility all the time. But yeah, what else? What other things were we trying to look at? Yeah, the maps where MW goes bonkers hard and then the rest of his team doesn't and they lose are often because MW is playing with so many teammates with him that it creates gaps on the other side of the map that people are able to exploit. Our NRG... My only concern about NRG is that... Actually, I've got two concerns about NRG. I think there's two ways that NRG can lose this game. One... I suppose there's three ways, actually. One is that they just haven't had enough time together, whatever the fuck that means. But I think the main two ways that they lose this game are they've got one of the ways would be they have a terrible read on the meta. They're just playing some whack shit that doesn't work. I don't think that'll happen, though. I think they've got such talented players, and even if they were playing weird compositions, Chet's made weird compositions work in the past anyway. So I'm not really that worried about that. The genuine worry, the way in which I think NRG could actually not be as good as they are on paper, is if they have too many cooks in the kitchen. If Crashies is trying to mid-round, and Ethan's trying to mid-round, and Marv is trying to mid-round as well, and they don't have someone like Finesse who's just there to make the final decision. If they have too many cooks in the kitchen, I could see them potentially not making the correct mid-round calls to deal with MW's aggression. Apart from that concern, though, I think NRG should be able to beat Furia. Yeah, well, actually, the thing is, Marv really didn't speak very much last year, but Victor said in an interview recently that since he's been playing for Sentinels, he's much more vocal than he was last time he played for Optic. And Marv, when he was playing for Sentinels, was not vocal like an IGL was vocal, but he was still calling some stuff. So if he's become more confident in his calling ability, it is actually possible that Marv does a little bit of mid-running for this team, and I don't think they need it, because in an ideal world, Ethan should be the primary IGL, Crashy should be the secondary IGL, and then Marv can call his own stuff, and Demon One can call their own stuff, or Victor if he's playing Duelist. But, yeah. What about Furia merits? The merits for Furia are that MW's aggressive defense is supported very nicely by Havoc's utility, and that 1-2 punch of MW supported by Havoc is going to be really difficult for a lot of teams to deal with. And the more scared you are of it, the more liberties MW is going to take. And sometimes he's just going to run away with the game. The other advantage to Furia, the other merit for them, is that Conan's attack side calling was actually better than I remembered it. And I think better than I remember Mazine's being from last year as well. And what else? What maps do you think they'll play? I have no idea. I don't think that's even possible to predict unless you've been watching their scrims. In order to know what map pool they're going to play, you would have to know like what the meta is, what tendencies the teams have, like where they've been winning. It's just not possible at the beginning of a year to know map pools. If you told me exactly what comps they played on every map, I could probably tell you which maps they'd be better at, but fuck knows. Like, in theory, I would want to get Demon 1 onto chamber maps. Like, Bind looks sick for this NRG team. Play Gecko, Sky, Chamber, Brim, Raze. That looks nasty for NRG on Bind. And if I was Furia, I'd want to play Breeze as well. But then on Breeze, like, what would NRG play on Breeze? Like, if Demon 1 was Jet, and then Crashies was Sova, Victor was Cypher, Ethan was KO, and Viper? To be honest, though, you don't have to play this comp, but that would work. Or Victor, Crashies could go Cypher, Ethan could play Sova, Victor could play... Sorry. Victor could play KO. They could swap those three roles around as well. They've got a very flexible team, so... Ethan Yoru? Yeah, they could. The thing is, though, if you were going to play Yoru on this map, well, you could play Jet Yoru. But I think that Jet Yoru is... Yeah, you could do that, actually. You totally could do that. Play Jet, Yoru, Viper, and then Cypher Sova. Something like that. I don't think that's quite as good, though, because the knife is so incredibly useful for defense. But it would be super explosive, and Ethan's a fantastic Yoru. Demon 1 could play smokes, too. Yeah, but what are you playing Harbor Viper on this map? I think most teams have moved away from that, actually, because it's really difficult to hold on to the defense side. Remember that this is the version with halls in as well. If you're not playing Cypher on this map, and if you're playing Viper, Harbor, and Cypher, then you're only playing one initiator. I mean, you're having trouble with that comp, I think. The version of Breeze without halls was, I think, just a better map, but it was also better for comp versatility. So, yeah. I think I'm very interested in watching the Demon 1 versus MW Jet matchup. I hope we get some Jet maps in there. But it would also be really good for NRG to push things towards Bind, Split, even. I think. It depends where Ethan's most comfortable calling, too. We really don't know anything about which maps Ethan is more comfortable calling on the attack side. Speaking of calling on the attack side, I want to look through some NRG VODs. I want to take a look at the way in which they called on the attack side. So I want to take a look at this Fracture VOD from round 13.
Double duelist.
Where is round 13? Nope.
He forced back in. You got the lead.
This is a fucking legendary map, by the way. Legendary map. This was also a nasty good series from NRG, and one where I think that the coach game plan, but also the calling was really good too. Don't want to watch Haven, though, necessarily, because I know that that won't come up. Do I want to watch the Ascent defense side? Let me think. No, I don't think I do. Maybe I do, actually. Yeah, let's watch map 2 there. But I think I mostly want to watch Split as well. And then Loud versus NRG's attack side. Where was it? Yeah, Bind I want to watch. And should we bother watching this Fracture? Don't think so. Yeah, I don't want to watch that Fracture. And then NRG versus Na'Vi from Masters Tokyo. Ascent. Actually, all of these maps, NRG had fantastic attack sides on. And then NRG versus Paper X, Lotus, and Bind. Yeah. So, okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so that's going to be the rest of the day, is just going through these VODs. How helpful would the old NRG VODs be, as a genuine question? Or what I'm looking for is this. What I'm going for is, I want to take a look at how Finesse called the attack sides. Because there's a few things that I associate with Finesse's calling. One is that they heavily default before they go into a site exec. So they usually don't run fast hits just straight off the bat, unless it's the same utility that they would run as part of their default, which makes it really difficult to tell whether they're doing a fast hit or a slow hit. And I also want to take a look at Finesse often disguises how many people are going to be coming from one direction versus the other direction. And I also want to look at just generally how Finesse calls his mid-rounding. And the reason that I want to look at these things, I know that Finesse is not playing, chat, but when we watch our first game of NRG, one of the biggest things is that Finesse is not there. Yeah? Finesse has always played with this core. They've always had that top-tier IGL, one of the best callers in the entire game, and now they have Ethan. So looking at, in the game, how Ethan calls, and contrasting it to how Finesse called, especially in these like really big games against top competition, is going to be a useful comparison to bring up in the middle of the game. So for example, if we watch a bunch of VODs now and we're talking about, yeah, okay, I'm right, Finesse would almost always tell his team to throw this kind of set default utility before picking the fast hit. If instead we're watching the game against Furia and they're just hitting the same sites over and over at the start of the round without ever going for a default, I don't think they're going to do that, but let's say that was the most like contrasting example. We would be able to say, this is so different to the way that Finesse ran the team. There is a clear stylistic difference here between Ethan and Finesse, right? So we're trying to find the style of the way that Finesse ran the team so that if it is different or if it is similar, we can talk about some of the similarities, some of the differences. Now, there are still going to be similarities because a lot of the mid-rounding is also going to be from Crashies or from, you know, somebody else on the team who is still on NRG. So some of the stuff they do is still going to be the same, but in particular, I imagine that Ethan is going to have a different approach to the defaulting into fast hits, fakes, and disguising the sight hits when they come through. Those are the three things that I would imagine are going to have the biggest differences between the two calling styles. But I'm not 100% sure, which is why I'm doing this VOD review. All right, so let's have a look. You're going to get the mustache tips touched up before the broadcast. The color seems to be fading. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what to do with them. I'm going to talk to the makeup department and just see what they're thinking of. Did you see the massive, insane Gen G changes? What is this? HSK role was changed from coach to player. What? Why? Wait, why? Is that just so that he can sub? Okay. League minimum, baby? I mean, I assume he was being paid more than the league minimum. The league minimum is not very much money if you're living in a big city with a fairly high cost of living, you know? All right, anyway. Yeah. It's not the first names, though. It's the surname Monkey Meatloaf. They're not all... Their first names are not Kim. It's their, like, family names. It's just that they do it backwards in Korea. Or, rather, we do it backwards compared to them, I suppose. Whatever way you want to think about it. Oh... Still more than what most people earn, right? Yes. Yeah, for sure. Actually, I don't know what the median salary is in Seoul, but I assume it's more than the median salary. I don't know what the median salary is in like California or Los Angeles either. I remember the median salary in Los Angeles being significantly lower than I expected it to be. Okay, let's have a look then. Does the minimum slide based on location? No, it doesn't. I mean, it does like a tiny amount because it's like 50,000 US dollars and 50,000 euros. So like the currency makes a difference, but in reality, it's not a large difference. What is the league minimum? I think it was like 50 or 52, something like that. It's somewhere around there. Okay. All right, so this map was fucking goated. That's a huge difference, isn't it? I don't think it's that much of a difference, actually. I think it's like a $3,000 difference, something like that. 50,000 USD to euro. The USD's gotten significantly stronger. Yeah, it's like a, what, $3,500 difference. I suppose that's a fairly large difference. You know, it's almost a 10% difference, but it's not massive. Oh. Taxation might make more difference. I mean, it entirely depends on where you're living as well. I get sidetracked so easily. Yeah. Who's doing the AWS stats? It is, I mean, someone behind the scenes. A guy who does this, whose name is Pinky, I think. So I'm going to go and get some more water before we begin this, because I can feel my throat drying out a little bit, and I don't want my throat to get bad right before I cast. But this was a fantastic map, and it should give us some idea of big moments from Finesse. All right, I'll be back in a sec. Okay. Yep, I am a snack goblin. Well, I'm also planning to stream a lot today, and I don't have any food here, so I'm just going to eat chips, I guess. Because I want to look at the calling style, O.A. Bronson.
Sure, you can see Loud's approach to the defense here. Like I said, they struggle with Gen G being so slippery in some of those rounds, really mixing things up and almost defying logic in some rounds, just playing so unorthodox. And that's not really NRG's forte.
Three players.
So beginning of this round, They throw the knife, they get the smoke down. And they're straight in. Artist dies. Les wasn't really hit by the flash by the look of things. And Artist got pressured into going super aggressive by those nano swarms. Big read on what was happening there from Loud.
To play off this contact. I don't think he actually has the fault line yet, so Sadak has to back away from this. Sadak just misses the nade.
And the pace of this pistol round has been fast.
Devastating.
Yeah, Crash is already down to 58. That would have been potentially huge. They get onto the site. The other hand, the time is actually good enough to catch one. It's a bit sloppy so far, a bit messy. Fall through by Tan. Cowanzine with a trade towards FNS. And that's fast. Taking it in the way of Loud. Stop. Stands. Cannot deliver.
Spiral out of...
Oh, they forced. I should probably watch that, shouldn't I?
A lot rides on this.
Pressure moments now. Loud could start tearing away this game. Sadak does get checked on here. Gets caught up too by that as well, but no one to close the gap yet. Cowanzine by his side. Artist and Victor towards that right side of the angle though, already making progress. They might...
And this round they throw some initiator utility over to the other side of the map. So Fracture's a bit of a weird one because you can't just run a straight default every round, I think, in a similar way that you could on a lot of other maps. Yeah, this is from Lock-In. So they throw the knife that lands over the top, the unbreakable knife. They follow it up, I think probably because it detects somebody with a stun.
Yeah. Gets caught up too by that as well, but no one to close the gap yet. Cowanzine by his side. Artist and Victor towards that right side of the
They wait until contact happens, and then they accelerate extremely quickly.
Big headshot, but Artist can't close that out just yet.
No, but it's quite equal footing here. Artist does find Cowanzine. Crashes! Takes away
And they are
the equation.
So this is the kind of thing that I think of when I think about the way that Finesse called. Is that it's like quite slow at the beginning when they try to vie for their first pieces of map control, and then they're very fast to accelerate afterwards.
Sadak does get checked on here. Gets caught up too by that as well.
Because they're not rushing right now, right? This is not a fast hit into A from the very beginning of the round. And it's also not a fast hit into A following up on the knife and the stun.
But no one to close the gap.
They're actually baiting out the reclear utility. So they're like they're making it seem like they're going for a fast hit, and then they bait Loud into going for the counter utility. And now that the counter utility has been used,
Yeah. Cowanzine by his side. Artist and Victor towards that
now they accelerate as soon as the like peaks come
right
through.
side of the angle though, already making progress. They might need to respect this.
I was going to say, now that they've seen there's a force behind this, Loud will back away. Oof. Big headshot, but Artist can't close.
And I think there's an enormous difference between a fast A hit and what NRG are doing. Because it means that you don't get hit by all of that counter utility by the defenders.
Spike planted. Artist is low HP, but again, you've got so many other bodies to get through to get to him.
The little like pump fakes and stutter steps are massively important in Valorant. And people just, a lot of teams don't understand it at all.
It ain't over yet. The three players from Loud trying to work out the five that was against them. Now just four. Three step towards the side. Victor spots two. Com's going to be made. They've got to be able to support him on this. Where's the rest of the team? One by one.
Oi, oi, oi.
Falling.
The post plant looks like a bunch of muck, though.
But now just down to FNS and Artist. And he was already low. It's only...
Okay.
But he reads his fake so early on. This
Oh, let's watch the eco as well, I suppose.
And now pressure on NRG starting to mount, but
Big peak from Artist,
huh? Certainly up to the test. Anyone else willing to try and succeed in Cowanzine? No.
Oh my god.
Artist with two. I've forgotten how this map went, by the way. I only remember the end of it. I don't remember how we got there. So if I react with surprise to moments, it's just because I don't have perfect memory about how everything went.
Got so much of a chance. Artist traded that though. But they won out by Dish. So Aspas is still in this one. Oh, he's waiting.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, Retrograde. They don't, like, it's hard for the defenders to know whether it's just a slow piece for map control or whether it's a hard hit. And that means that they can't afford to commit all of their defense utility to stopping it, because NRG could just cancel.
A couple more seconds. Smokes really good. Gives him space to work. Oh, and only Artist can. And you can feel that pressure start. Ben on
Great.
5 to. For me, this could be one to truly start hammering the
Aspas opening.
coffin of NRG. It's got to start now.
The stun could not have been more perfect. The read on where Aspas was going to opt from, absolutely immaculate there.
To make that operator work, that has to respect the early investment and falls away from Dish.
And they're immediately contacting through halls because they know that the op was on the other side of the map.
Rewarded initially, down to 53 HP as well. We'll back away from this. Actually, commitment from NRG behind it.
And again, there's this pause here, right? This pause here, very finesse pilled. Very finesse pilled. Because you don't really know... you don't know when they're going to hit. You don't know if they're going to back off and just go back into any other part of the map. It's not a full commit into A at this point until they pull the trigger eventually. So few teams do this. It's such a massive difference between the top and the bottom teams. I was talking about this so much last year, or at least I was trying to. And mostly I was talking about it with DRX, because DRX were shit at this last year. It was one of the biggest reasons why they weren't a top-level team. They just did not understand pacing on their attack side. They just fucking sent it. The other thing about this round and the way that they've done it is that it feels like there's a lot of people coming from this direction because that's where the utils come from. But these guys have not really made any noise. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Loud get caught out by a peak like this or a peak like this at some point, because it feels heavy Dish.
Not rewarded initially.
It feels like a 4-1.
As well. We'll back away from this. Actually, commitment from NRG behind it.
A little bit of a spam from Kaunzin, but not enough of a connection to really write home about anyway.
Eyes on less. Can he make it to Dish here? There's one member in the form of Crashies holding this down to prevent this retake ultimate.
Victor uses his ult to stop any of the retake utility coming through.
There's the pop of 1-0.
Perfect post-plant positions as well. Some can have a molly lineup.
Right.
Crashies
Big
can
swing factor will be by Dish and time
control Dish.
Got a judge.
He's got a stun as well.
Surely he can't close this gap. She should now be on red alert. Nice. There it is. Main threat now eliminated. They have to deal with the rest that's coming towards the site. Yes, Sadak is close. But you've got to feel everything is now favorable towards NRG. And waiting in the back lines is Som. In case he has to pull that trigger, going to invest it now. Time now on their side, and Loud want to keep these weapons.
What a fucking silly molly lineup, by the way. Bouncing it off some out-of-bounds area.
3, walking away with their lives and around for NRG.
These rounds are sick, though. These rounds are sick.
Still able to get a buy here. 2 judges, 2 vandals, and that operator.
All right, so this is an actually slightly slower, defaulty looking round, but it starts the exact same way from NRG. They have this stun primed over towards here, which is where Aspas was playing before. I mean, it's towards here, right? And then they have these 2 players holding towards the bottom, but they're holding more passively.
And already proactive beginnings, Mike.
Doubling down, 2 judges now.
Crashies doesn't even go for the stun because the knife doesn't see anything. So they're using the knife to inform whether or not they need to stun.
Already proactive beginnings.
No? Yeah, I think they are.
Doubling down, 2 judges now in the arsenal for Loud.
Or maybe they just decided to contact out there.
Playing very close up here with NRG happy to show presence very early on outside A main. A deep smoke.
So this could be the same kind of sight hit coming through again, because these 3 players could be all the way up here. So what Loud have gone for is making sure that the other half of the hit can't happen. You know, if there was 3 or even 4 players over towards Dish, they could react aggressively in here if these NRG players see that Sadak and Tuiz are pushed up over there.
Zine here.
But
in
it's
support.
not actually an A hit from
That
NRG.
fault line coming back
It is a
online
default.
shortly.
They've just taken dish control and now they're backing up.
NRG though, slipping towards the operator of Aspas.
Precarious, dangerous. Waiting coiled like a viper.
But they've inserted Victor.
Waiting to strike. Takes out Artist, takes up the head of the beast. And now Energy working with far less than before.
So Artis ends up getting caught by a little trap play from Loud. And now NRG are able to come back to A. Because they left Victor here, they're able to run all the way back here because they know it's safe and they don't need to worry about making footstep noises. And now, if these players know that Halls has been taken, they can react A fast and try and pinch the Halls players. Or if they don't, there's going to be a big fight over Halls.
That A main control.
Victor found space on
Well,
dish though.
They saw the nade
Crash's
though.
opportunity to get across the site.
By
Tuiz,
Rafter.
does he spot this out though?
I don't think he's seen Victor.
Sadak dies.
Still winning the fight over by main. The pressure.
And Victor's in behind.
To be coming through by Sanders. Tuiz expect this. Yes, Calzine turns.
Crashies gets one, but Crashies also has Spike. Oh my god. Ooh, ridiculous. Ridiculous.
But when he needed it, he finds it. FNS already tenderized earlier on, down so low. Good
Another ridiculous kill by Som.
in the 1v2, Aspas needs a rifle, gets it.
Kills a player while he's stunned and then kills another player jump peeking. Fucking wild round from Som.
Round saving ultimates if called upon. Som trying to play safety. Aspas gives away position, trying to check as he goes. And the players will hold a good crossfire here, draws the attention on one side. Crashy.
But in terms of the calling this round, very much similar kind of thing, except the first time that we've seen it on this map, where they throw they have the same setup as if they're going for an A pinch, but they play it more passively and it turns into a default. And so they explore over towards B, end up losing a player over there, are able to rotate all the way back, and then these players are able to get in based off the info that they gather somewhere else. It's lovely. In theory, Cowan's insult maybe should have been able to win the round for Loud.
It's only really the
But
judges that ultimately are the demise of this.
I think the way that NRG play this round is lovely in terms of a macro. Do you think Som's a top 3 smokes player in the world?
That's got to be so frustrating. A crucial kill.
Yeah, I think he was last year, yeah.
To flip this back in NRG's favor. Sheriff's into this one.
Yeah, could be 8.
I mean, he was replacing Marv and he played better than Marv did last year.
Very much could be 8.
Similar kind of utility again, so we get a stun off the beginning.
Very much could
So there's a defensive stun, then there's an attacker's stun. Knife comes through as well.
see if anyone gets any opportunities, any slipperiness to be had.
And this time, Som is watching over towards the, like, tree push.
Aggression.
Not the tree push, sorry, the arcade push. Man, I forgot the name for that for a second there. Loud is still focused on trying to control halls,
Put it away.
but they're trying to control halls from an area where the breach stun
Very
wouldn't hit
quickly
them.
in a position where they have a little bit of a cushion.
And now, you got to remember again, NRG have been playing 2 players on the south side in most of these rounds. So, Aspas is opping here. These 2 players are looking here. They're searching for Som and Finesse, who are not on south side at all. They're now north side. And so, NRG, by, again, making it look exactly the same, or not exactly the same, but they're making it look like one of their defaults, which is this stun knife dish default. They've made it look like that, but they've immediately put these 2 players from the south on the north side, and they're ready to go for some kind of full 5 through arcade B hit.
In terms of the finances here. Very loose hold here on B. But
And they're not
Aspas,
using very much utility
ton of information
as
on
they
both
take
three.
map control,
Sadak and Cowan
so they're disguising where they're coming from.
outside A main.
Ooh, great shot though.
What a shot. Oh, this instantly nullified.
But as soon as contact is taken, NRG accelerate. They knife to clear anybody who might be hiding over towards tower. The knife doesn't find anybody, so Crashies knows that tower is free right now.
And that turret posing a threatening
They're
position
taking
for a moment
space.
there.
Som
Not gonna get a
with
second attempt at
very
this.
fast peak. But they're accelerating here based on the fact that they took contact and the knife didn't see anything. So there's a lot of structure here to the way that NRG are playing. And Finesse is also slowly coming around underneath tunnel so that he could potentially pinch anybody that was playing B main or cut off any rotates.
Tom going to take down Aspas. The site started looking far more secure. Nothing denying the plant. Like
Fantastic post-plant
threats.
utility available.
And none of these looking too threatening just yet.
Chucklin, thank you for the 50 months.
He's now able to kind of stabilize, sit back a little deeper. Should allow the cross to site. Hand as well. NRG up to task. 2Es. Still good damage. Needs a whole lot more to make this round actually a potential.
Some already set up with a molly as well, yeah. Still on the picture-in-picture coming through. Should allow NRG to hold on to pretty much all of these rifles.
Is he Sadak trying to body block the molly there?
Bloody hell. Making a go of hurling
Noble round. This post offer available for
those investments here. Really, opponents.
All right. So this round, we're seeing a different setup at the start from NRG. But we have seen them at the first few rounds do a setup where they knife here and stun like this. So they have kind of two defaults that they're beginning the round with. One is the dish knife, and that can pivot into an A split, a topside default, or a B hit. And then we have the bottom default, the Halls default, which can go into an A exec, or we might see something different this round as well.
Ask. 4 seconds we're going back underway.
Let's not forget, actually, that first run of 3 rounds didn't really equate to much because it's level.
So they're early stunned by Kawanzine.
In the second half.
How much they put to this? Oh my god. Oh, the
Oh,
flash!
Victor just flashes out. He knows that they're he hears them both spamming the smoke, and he just chooses the timing to flash into both of their faces. It's gross. It's absolutely gross.
It's gorgeous from Victor. Open.
And of course, from Loud's POV there, they don't know if that's the Brim Cypher inside the smoke. They don't know who it is, because Victor hasn't thrown his knife yet. Crashies hasn't stunned yet. They haven't used any utility at this point in the round. So Loud have no idea what they're facing on the other side of that smoke. When the flash hits them, they're just ruined.
It's a 3v2 though, in less than 2Es. Still have so much work to achieve. The ult is ready though. Buying seconds here. The lockdown considered, I think. Rolling Thunder going to come back in, just buying a couple of precious seconds in the plant now attempt. Still
Half.
Okay, for some reason, I skipped too much of the round there. Whoopsie daisy.
Really equate to much because it's level pegging now in the second half.
How much they put to this? Oh my god. Oh, the flash.
I actually never looked at what roster was Finesse trying to put together with him and Som.
No.
All right, so this is the part where NRG run into trouble, I think, is that if they have an idea in their head of what the defensive setup looks like, they get fucking smacked if it's different. They make a lot of assumptions about how their opponent is going to be playing. Like, for example, here, their assumption is that they were playing 2 on Halls, so they should have a free access to the A site, because the other people should be here or on B or something. So they just don't even account for Aspas. And that, in my opinion, is the reason why NRG used to get tripped up so bad by other teams like Xersha, like Billy, because if they don't get a read on what's happening, they don't know what to be afraid of. Where the fuck is this guy streaming from? Bren? No snitches. No fucking snitches. His ideal roster was Zekken, Leaf, Som, Finesse, and Ethan. Zekken, Leaf, Som, Finesse, Ethan. Yeah, that's a fucking nasty roster. That is an outrageous roster. I tell you what, though. Second Leaf, some finesse, Ethan. Wait a second. But also, if he had just stayed on NRG and they had some finesse Ethan, right? So minus Marved, minus somebody, we'll figure that out later. And you added Demon 1 to that instead of Zekken or Leaf. And you flesh it out with... Dude, I don't even know, to be honest with you, but let's pick another person from NRG again. Let's say Crashies or Victor, right? One of Crashies or Victor. That's still a fucking insane lineup. And my point here is that even if Summoned Finesse had stayed with NRG and just added like the two pieces that NRG did add in the off-season, that also would have been a nasty lineup. They would have had to cut one of Crashes or Victor, but I think that's as good as current NRG. It actually, in some ways, might be better. It's less skilled because, I mean, no hate to Finesse, but Finesse being on the team rather than one of the other players just inherently makes the roster less skilled. But it's still an extremely skilled, like, super team-esque kind of roster. So, my point here being, didn't Summon Finesse kind of shoot themselves in the foot here? Maybe Summon Finesse couldn't convince the management to go for a move like this, where they kept them both, but cut one of Crashies or Victor. Or maybe Crashies and Victor were just like, nah, we're a package deal. And Summon Finesse were like, well, we're a fucking package deal. But honestly, that's what confused me about the NRG offseason, to be honest with you, because if it's a battle between Some Finesse and Crashies Victor, and you have access to people like Ethan, Com, Demon 1, Jorgamo, like the EG players that you had access to, I would be inclined to keep Summon Finesse. But I guess they saw it differently. Like, I can understand if Summon Finesse were like, we won't play unless we get this exact roster. But if Summon Finesse were a little bit, you know, pliable with what the roster looked like, but they just really, really wanted to push for big players, I don't know. I think it still would have been absolutely cracked. You forget about Chet? But Chet and Finesse have worked, you know, it's not like, as far as I'm aware, Chet does not hate Finesse. They've had a very solid working relationship for a long time. Any speculation about that is just pure speculation, right? So who knows? I don't know. I don't think a team like NRG needs an IGL like Finesse anymore with all their experience. Well, we will see, won't we? We will see. We will see. Finesse wanted a roster where anyone can play any agent and flex at any role, and Chet did not agree. I mean, okay. I think that having an extremely flexible roster is massively important. Trying to mix up your roles all throughout the year is a bad idea. Like, if you have a team, even a super flexible team, you want some level of stability. Holy fuck, these chips are goated. Oh my god. Tortilla chips with avocado oil and a squeeze of lime. Wait, they taste so good. They're so good. Isn't NRG now extremely flexible? It's not as flexible as that version that Finesse was talking about. But yeah, it's very flexible.
Thought we'd make a good team. We're Leaf. I thought we'd make a good team. We're Leaf, Zekin, myself, Sam, and who was the fifth? I forget the fifth, dude. You second, myself. It
That
might have been
confused the crap
Trent.
out of me.
No, I don't think it was Trent because we couldn't. I knew I couldn't get Trent at the time. No, it wasn't Asuna either. Leaf was gonna be my duelist. Zekin was gonna be like my Sova-ish player. And then in an ideal world, it would have been Ethan.
This is not an explanation. This is just him long-windedly saying the same thing that you typed out in 3 seconds. There is no explanation here. You've just debated me.
He's got one. How long can he stand here and try and take the fight? He takes one with him. He's doing everything he can. It is a 3v2 though, in less than 2 he's still have so much work to achieve. The ult is ready though. Buying seconds here. The lockdown considered, I think. Rolling Thunder gonna come back in, just buying a couple of precious seconds, and the plant now attempted. There's the lockdown. Plant will not be denied by this, but that will deny the ult.
Again, a trade-off of ultimates here, and it almost locks Loud out of this site. 2 E's and less. Still want to make a go of this.
They need a spark. They need something to ignite this round. 2 players on site, 1 above some. Waiting on the swing here. There's going to be the investment of utility. It's done well too. He's still going to get 1. Oh!
Lockdown when the orbital strike is there. 2 E's throwing the orbital strike out. FNS baiting out perfectly with the tap of the spike. Now that's effectively the wind in the sails of NRG.
So this round they
Now perfectly with the tap
they
of the
knife into
spike.
A and then they cam A to see whether there's some kind of stack in halls. And that cam's also going to allow them to go back into halls late on in the round if they want to.
An over delivery in a round. They need an Aspas round.
And they are in fast on beat. This is the first time they've done this strat. But same thing again. They don't go fast off the spawn barriers to B. They put a little bit of pressure in the halls at the start of the round, and then they go towards B.
So far, the ball's
NRG literally do not fast hit. Or rather, like, they do, but their version of fast hitting is a default into a fast hit. It's not running and holding W off the spawn barrier.
You're right, but FNS going to take down Kalanzine. Good, keeping even numbers. Aspas takes it right.
Oh my God!
Aspas doubles down! Doing wonders. We said we need heroics, and maybe he's the hero they need!
Hello, Casey Bilton. How's it going? Are you a Kamenkov fan? Sunset, thank you for the 5 months.
Edge now.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous round from Loud.
We wanted the spark, we found the spark to ignite. Loud again. It was 4 in a row for NRG, almost knocking at the door and bringing it back all even.
Wait. I said they don't do fast hits off the spawn barrier. They're just about to do a fast hit off the spawn barrier. But this is their only one so far this half.
Revitalized maybe Loud now. You look towards 12, but NRG
Oh, this is actually their pistol round strat.
not done yet. Still have something to say in the matter. Artist, quick work, fast work, less. Still alive.
Tragic.
Artist tries to dice him up. The flash not good. This is sloppy. It's not working out here. Aspas delivers a missile to the brain of Victor. Speaking of missiles, Salik's got one of his own. Oh my God, posts it. Finds nothing. And now they're falling like flies. Some still standing, less than 2Es. Got an uphill struggle and a half. The spike's down and they've got everything they want here. 2Es barely got utility to work with. Less, not really much to be seen here. And NRG looking like they want to answer back in kind. Shoving it down their throats with 4 alive.
Fire. One. Repeat that thrifty success. Stinger in the hands of Cowanzino.
Dude, I was shoveling chips down my throat, and she says shoving it down their throats, and I was just like, huh. I'm too horny pilled. It's terrible. All right, let's have a look at the beginning of this round.
Yeah.
Now they might just clear through the north side of the map once again.
The cam right at the beginning to push away Aspas in case he's up in there. Nice touch from Finesse.
Repeat that thrifty success.
The cam allows them to contact so they don't have to use any utility. So Loud don't know that they're taking tree control.
A stinger in the hands of Cowanzino.
But Loud do know that it's not the dish side default.
Time to mull it over. Consider.
Which means they should be afraid of the south side right now.
It's only less than Aspas here. Could be a quick rotation from Sanak, but again, keep in mind, his purchase is not perfect. Aspas is perfect. Actually has a gap to work with here too. Out it is! Sent home!
Aspas is just ridiculous.
And he wants more.
He's just
Aspas
playing in front of the
hungering for
utility,
it,
trying to kill
beating
everybody,
for it.
and it's working.
And Sanak still got his side. Fair finesse creeps. Oh, the timing! That could have been the death of FNS, but it's not over yet. Aspas is on the hunt.
Dude, Aspas
He
is
wants
so
blood.
aggro.
He wants FNS gone, and he's got him gone! Aspas! Digging deeper than before. This could be 12 on the board. Crashes though! Finds 2 back in. And now Aspas and Sanak still standing, but not for long. Crashes! Is it all his to be had? Aspas getting closer step by step, but he's down so low. And time is against him, the jump.
Yeah, I need to actually look up the sneaker word into VCT. I don't know what words I've got. I need to have a look at that.
Chances are going as we speak.
Let me check for you. Oh, can the mods see that?
This is going to be it. 11 to 11. It's all even.
I can't believe it's coming down to this.
God is a judge.
All right, so start of this round, they're doing the dish default again.
And a stinger, a spectre even.
No ult.
Stun, knife. They know that there's nothing dish.
Be crumbling in front of their eyes. This could be so heartbreaking.
So now, again, do they pause and go back into something else, or do they accelerate?
The only saving grace is it comes down to a purchase next round.
Did they hear them on the rope?
What can they do?
Yes,
members of
Sadak
the
heard them
team
on the rope.
Looking to waterfall.
So look, now they're going and clearing out the entirety of the south side, Loud.
There's clearance elsewhere on the map. Yeah, the penny has
But
dropped, but
now Loud
oh,
has
gee.
cancelled, and they're going back into their B setup. They did this at one other point. They grouped up all 5 top side,
Games in play.
and then they went for that B exec through arcade.
There's still not enough that sold them on anyone else moving from the...
Oh wait, so these are the 4: Jinkies, Twiddler, a Villager Noise, and Sopping. Oh god. No, sopping is not what Mormons do. That's soaking. Or jump pumping. Jinkies, Twitter. Dude, Jinkies is so difficult. I remember trying to do that last year. Jinkies is fucking difficult, man. It's just so silly. Twiddler. A villager noise. What is a villager noise? Is that a villager noise? Is that reasonable? Like that? I need to look some of these up later.
This should keep him present. There is still a chance here for Loud.
They're going to try and fake. They're going to try and draw the rotation with some utility here.
Oh, wow.
So again, Finesse is just kind of playing with them.
He's clearing tree. He's going to keep 3 members allowed towards A.
But this is so aggressive from Loud, the way that they're playing. They've already cleared the entirety of the south side, and they're just content to keep 2 people on B in case there's a 5-person arcade push. And they've kept 3A. I mean, just reading the fact that it was a re-hit here.
Who do we have here? Calzine still sitting
This stun
main.
in the paint shell could be devastation. Actually, the paint shell built up a little early.
Yeah, Pansy is casting EMEA, but this was a global game.
Pressured, 25 seconds. They have to make a move soon.
It was a lock-in.
There's no other option to it. It's time to go. Time to fall in towards the side 2Es. Is there anything that you've got? No! Overwhelmed. 12 is beckoning, but 12 seconds is all they've got to get that plant down with nothing.
Oh, jinkies! I'm sopping. I don't think that would be good. I don't think that would be very good. I'm not going to put them all in the same sentence.
To stop it, we're in the post plant with 5 standing.
Still got that operator, but Aspas got to be conscious. He's going to find one. Crashes will fall here on the first peak. Loud are going for it.
But where's that next layer going to come from? How do you pry the action from it?
No off with the timing. And NRG.
Okay, so now NRG up 12-11, doing their dish
OT,
default.
Or it's GG.
They stun, they knife, the knife gets broken. So now they've got to be worried about dish.
Prospect now. In front of their very
Victor
own,
throws a flash, and here's the dash. So they know that Aspas is playing over towards A. The defenders actually kind of stuff Som and Finesse inside A halls. So the rest of NRG needs to bail them out from A halls right now. This is a really cool call by Sadak.
Oh my god, maybe just...
You see how NRG contact through this area because they're pretty confident that Aspas has already dashed away. But Aspas getting aggressive back into this area is massive for his team because it gives him a chance at a kill and maybe even 2 in this spot.
Up the spray. He's praying for it. He's not going to get it.
And it just keeps Som and Finesse more and more contained inside halls.
Artist answers. Another 4v4. Smoking.
And NRG have been forced to commit to this A hit. They didn't want to end A here, but they were forced to end A because Sadak and Kawanzin like pushed them into A from tree.
Towards sand, and they're going to try and burst towards it.
They got stuffed in their sopping.
Goes in, going to keep him humbled.
Jinkies.
holding them back here. Sadak goes down. The trade comes out. The spike now left loose on the ground. It ain't out of the woods just yet. A 3v3. Finesse.
And this is the round where Kawanzin goes crazy, right?
It's time! And the ult going to come up for the back of it too. He's just pulled so many problems in for Loud. In a 2v3.
Finesse threatening that he might have gone up towards heaven.
Into this, or it's done for Kawanzin. He's trying so hard for his side. And the 1v1. Finesse.
God, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous, man.
Into this, or it's done for
Kawanzin kills Ardis with a wallbang spam and then pushes Som into the aftershock. They don't just double face Kawanzin. Like Ardis and Som could have tried to take that fight, but they just slowly died to Kawanzin, tragically, trying to hide from him. Trying to play smartly. And then Kawanzin just reads where Finesse is. It's just disgustingly good. Oh, they were in the middle of counting it down? Oh, I don't think I ever watched that comms video from this man.
From him to even get it to that point. I can't believe it. What is that shot?
That was bonkers.
Slapped on top side, the aftershock. And then the headshot to seal the deal.
25
went on map overtime here.
A new hope is born.
All right, so now NRG are on defense. I'm not that bothered about this. Let's skip to their attack side. All right, so they're doing their halls default.
Aspas noted here, no operator.
They know that the jet is here. They stun. Again, this could just be for halls control, or this might immediately accelerate into an A hit.
From Dish, though, he has 2 players up there, so he's certainly not alone here.
First time we've really seen this all-in A main take from NRG.
Dirty angle from Kawanzin. Site now smoked, they're on the way.
And here they go, going for the A hit.
Making it through towards site. Plant's going to come in, nothing to stop it, no utility to deny. It's down. Pressure starting to mount though. Trying to get away from the site just a touch, leaving Ardis isolated, but that's fine by him. holding towards main. How do they break back in this for Loud? These seconds passing are heart-wrenching. Artist with the first. Aspas finding the follow-up towards Som. It's a 3v3. Flash goes in. No one able to capitalize, really. They're stunned up here, but they still can't break through those back three less.
I can't remember how this map ends.
And now the time is to strike. He's taken down FNS. And now he takes
God, that is
down.
absurd from less, isn't it? Absurd from less.
Loud to beat so much value just on it, but they're so proactive behind these two smokes.
I think it's very, very difficult to hold two ideas in your head. One, that Finesse is one of the best callers in the game, which I believe. And two, that NRG won't miss him. They'll be fine without him. Which I kind of believe. But those are almost contrasting viewpoints. They're not exactly mutually exclusive, but it's pretty difficult to have both of those things be true. And I really don't believe that the Finesse take is wrong. I think personally I think the general community is underselling how important IGLing is when it comes to what their expectations are for NRG.
Can't hold on to it.
Because, like, the whole way that NRG plays their attack side is, I think that's what made them the best in the world when they were Optic, or, you know, one of the best teams in the world when they were playing as NRG. I think their attack side was defined the way that they approached the game.
Making no mistakes this time. Making
they're spotted.
No subtlety. What?
Again, I'm going to skip through their defense.
Som there! That's the time for Som! That's his moment to shine!
Is it a hot take to say Jake was the best smokes in NA? Yeah, I think so. But Jake was extremely good. It's just that I don't think he was the best. I think that would be very, very much a hot take, yeah. Didn't Bala say that when he listened to the comms, some of these amazing calls to push and pull were from someone other than Finesse? Yeah, so, quite a bit of the mid-rounding came from Crashies, but I don't think the mid-rounding is actually what defines their attack side. I think what defines their attack side is the concept that they are always going to begin... I find it so difficult to explain this without resorting to poker terminology. They have a wide range when they begin the round, and the decisions that they make don't give away whether it's in the fast-paced part of their range or the slow part of their range. They run a lot of... They throw a lot of utility at the beginning that protects their fast range. It's so difficult to communicate this kind of stuff without using specific terminology. It's hard to communicate properly. Because the core concept to understand is that when you throw defaulty utility at the start of the round and then go into a fast hit, it is much more difficult for the defenders to understand that you are about to fast hit. It is way more difficult for them to rotate instantly, throw good defensive utility instantly. They have to assume that it's potentially a slow round and they don't want to just bust all of their defensive util immediately. So by throwing util at the start of the round before you go into your fast hit, that is just map control utility, by defaulting into a fast hit, you protect your fast hits. You stop your opponent from just being able to read what's happening. Sneak a word into VCT, clod hopping. Wait, I think clod hopping should be really easy, because anytime someone's stomping around the map, you can say that they're clod hopping, right? Isn't that just what that means? Have I misunderstood what that word means? Foolish, awkward, or clumsy. Wait, to be honest with you, I didn't realize that it was an adjective. Oh, I guess I was thinking... No, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking of. Used to refer to someone who moves in an awkward way. Used to describe shoes that are heavy. Would that even make sense then? The way in which I was using it? Because I was thinking about using it as a verb. Like, X was clod hopping around. But I guess it's an adjective, so it's like this clod hopping breach. I think clod hopping should be easy to get in there, though. I don't think that's difficult. I will take you up on that, Elkline. I think I could fit that into the first game, actually. It's kind of a cool word. That would be a pretty clod-hopping way to use the word. Oh, God, I've just been roasted using the VCT word. If Loud and everyone, for example, knew this is how Finesse likes to call, doesn't that make it easy to counter? No, because... okay, because again... If they throw... What are you supposed to do? Like, you don't... Think about it this way. The decision tree goes like this. Every round we throw, let's say, knife and stun. But some percentage of those rounds, we're going to go into a fast hit. And some percentage of those rounds, we're going to insert a player. And some percentage of those rounds, we're going to retreat and go into a full default. Now, as the defenders, you see the knife and the stun. Doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you a thing. You can either try to fight them for the map control, but if it's a fast hit and they have a bunch of players there, you're probably going to get overwhelmed and fucked, which is what happened, I think, in like one of the first rounds where they went on the halls exec and then they accelerated. I think that was round 2, actually. Or you treat it as if it could be a fast hit and you start rotating people over, and then if it's a slow round... you're fucked. You've just left a bunch of holes in your defense. So it's actually, again, this is the way that people are supposed to play poker, is that you don't play the cards that you actually have. You play the range that you are demonstrating. It makes it extremely difficult to exploit. It's like almost unexploitable. But Loud have come up with a really cool game plan here, which is to try to call NRG's bluff as much as possible by trying to contact repeak into areas. It's dangerous, though, because if you contact repeak into areas, you're going to get caught a lot if they are really there. But they figure that NRG are not throwing in as many fast rounds, so they're going to do the counter to the slow play, and if they get hit by a fast round, they lose. How did Billy beat them 4-0 in 4 different maps? Well, that's because, in my opinion, Billy do a lot of stuff that isn't standard. They do a lot of stacking certain bomb sites. They do a lot of timing plays that are not considered optimal. And I think that NRG makes a lot of assumptions about how their opponents have got setups. So if they see 2 people in one area, they think, well, there can't be somebody here because no team would play like that. It doesn't make sense. For example, right, if just to use Fracture as an example, when they killed 2 people right here, they did not think that Aspas was also going to be positioned here. Because they thought, we've killed the 2 halls players. Nobody plays 2 halls and 1 anchoring site. That's just not a defensive setup. It doesn't make sense to play, so we're going to assume that once we smoke this off, we have the site for free. And then Aspas killed 2 of them with the AWP. Those kind of things were happening all the time against Billy. They would kill like 2 players on A, and there would still be another 2 players on A. And they got rinsed by that. Because I think NRG make a lot of assumptions about which areas of the map are going to be free, so they can save utility and they don't have to clear them thoroughly. And it's not about like, oh, well, you know, pro players have got to check their corners even if you don't think anyone's there. No, if you go around checking every fucking corner with a stun and a flash, You're going to run out of utility in 3 seconds, and you're also going to waste so much time, they're going to have rotated to you. So that's what pisses me off about that kind of analysis, is it's just fucking completely wrong. Like, the entire game at the top level is making calculated assumptions about where people are going to play. And I think that's one of the big reasons why NRG struggled so much against unorthodox teams. And especially teams that they didn't understand what style they played. So I think NRG got better the more they understood their opponent, the more their opponent was playing sensible Valorant. And I think that actually NRG play what I think is some of the best attack side conceptual play across all of Valorant in the early round and the mid round. Now, what they don't do as well as some of the teams on the attack side is that they don't. I think one of the things that EG did amazingly on Ascent was that they would insert Demon 1 and then create pressure on other sides of the map that would force 1v1s into Demon 1, that just Demon 1 wins those because he's fucking ridiculous. And one of the things that Fnatic and EG did better than NRG on their attack side was syncing their ults together in sometimes scripted and sometimes unscripted ways that won them big rounds. But in terms of the like difficulty to read, I think Finesse's calling is S tier, absolutely S tier. But again, this is like, these are quite complex concepts to explain. So I've got to think of ways to be able to sum these up easily for people to understand without having to watch the footage. Because if I'm talking about this during an NRG versus Furia match tomorrow, they can't see the way that Finesse was calling. And I can't expect the viewer to remember how Finesse used to call. So I've got to be able to describe it. And to be honest, saying things like stutter step and pump fakes, that's about as good as I can think of at the moment. But it doesn't really describe... I mean, the other thing to say is that he would always default into a fast hit and just simplify it like that. There's a couple ways of simplifying it for people, but it's pretty difficult to sum it up easily. Is poker not an allowed analogy? Poker doesn't work as an analogy unless you're a poker player. People don't know enough about poker. People think poker is just bluffing.
A tap on the spike. No one wants it. Oh, they've done it again. This game is towards B. Artist springboards off the back of the knife, tries to take the position.
I don't think any of these rounds where they went for their pistol round strat worked.
And it's just mayhem towards the side. Loud is still getting bodies on the ground though.
And I think one of the reasons why it didn't work is because they don't have anybody pushing from arcade towards Jenny at all. Like, everybody is going... Oh, well, I suppose they do, actually. They do have Crashies going through there, but he's not synced up with Som. He's just on his own. That's a nasty shot from Sadak, though.
But will fall. The trade there for Sadak. And it's just mayhem towards the side. Loud is still getting bodies on the ground, though. County! Oh my god! Holds the line! And once again!
Yeah, I think talking about it in terms of pump fakes is a pretty good way of describing it to a casual audience. Because people know what a pump fake is. Even if you don't watch basketball, you know what a pump fake is. But yeah, it's not that accurate, but I think it's close enough. You always have to sacrifice accuracy for simplicity. I don't know what a pump fake is? Come on, guys. You don't know what a pump fake is? Really? I'm trolling? Okay, Fluxtopus is trolling. Never watched or played basketball? I feel like that's the kind of thing that generally has made its way into the zeitgeist, though, hasn't it? Fair enough. I mean, a pump fake is where you act as if you're going to do something, and then... Is this a pump fake? What are you about to show me, man? What am I about to... Let's see if Bren does a pump fake. Let's see if Bren tries to pump fake.
You've seen my Valorant analysis. Now it's time to see what I can do on the court.
No pump fakes yet. A lot of out of bounds play. Dude, he's so good. He's so good. Look at him. He's putting rings around me. I mean, that could be a pump fake, except that he just jumped and traveled. That's not a pump fake.
Don't record it.
But that's kind of what it is, right? You're like you look like you're gonna take a shot. Like normally it's when somebody passes to you and you act like you're immediately gonna take a shot. So you bait a reaction out of the other player, like you bait a jump out of them, and because they're jumped in the air, so they don't have the mobility that you drive to the basket. So the idea is that basically the concept of a pump fake is you're faking aggression, I suppose, in order to bait a defensive reaction and then capitalize on that bait. So what NRG are doing isn't necessarily a pump fake, but it's as close to a traditional sports analogy as I can really get it, I think.
This is one of the greatest matchups we've ever had.
And it sets the tone.
A fake out might also work. Yeah, but that's too close to actually faking stuff. I mean, they're not faking. Unless you consider default faking. Because they do also fake. Like, that's one of the other things that NRG were amazing at, was faking. But again, that's partly just building on the fact that they're so good at going from the default. Dude, Aspas is so fucking good.
Criminal flies in, takes out Artist, and now FNS. No way, he finally falls. It's a 2-for-1 trade. A 4v3 now favorable, make it the up. This faces quickly to be refocused and wiped off because there is still a task at hand here. They are not clear yet.
Knife catches Aspas. Do they go into him or do they go around him? They stun, they catch him. God damn.
Counter flash, yes, but nothing to make of it.
Again there, right? Like, once the stun comes through, you can anticipate that there's other people behind it, and it's not just the Brim and the Cypher playing there. But until the stun comes through, you have no idea whether this is the dish default or like a slow dish default or whether it's the Halls default. As soon as the stun is popped off the back of the knife, that's just deadly, man. That's deadly.
Sadak on the swing, it's messy, but he will get FNS.
And now NRG put another pause in to deal with Sadak, and now they can accelerate towards the site. Oh, that is bad from Artist. That's ridiculous from Kawanzine.
You can ask no more of that man, but 2 E's and less.
God, Kawanzine was on fire during this game. That's so unlucky from Som as well.
He
slipped away, he's kept his life though. But they're both on the site, they're both cornered here. They only know of one. 2 E's looking for that jump spot, finds nothing. The smoke.
I can't remember how this round ends.
Hidden for now, and that time slipping away. They've got to get a move on. And the swing, the double swing, it's perfect.
Oh just very simply. I can't remember. I thought this game ended 16-14. I couldn't remember what the score was. What is the final score here?
One of these rounds out, and 2E's still delivering them here.
Out of this world.
So look here, they knife, and they're immediately. So this is them. This is them faking the Halls default because they throw the knife here, and they're immediately already going towards a B exec. The way that they play with the default utility to mess with what the defenders think is going on is just immaculate.
Out of this world.
Skip the 2 E's round? Yeah, because I'm focused on NRG's attack side. I'm not watching for entertainment value here.
Just noting Aspas, for example, this time seeing a whole different look here.
The Loud dig a little deeper here. Tempered aggression here in A main.
NRG are looking to try to find a reaction on the other side. I mean, this is like...
to navigate away from that setup.
Les should be fucked.
That last round. Seen crazier things happen in this series, Mike.
Stun, dash, going into the pistol round setup. God damn. Artist, Les knows exactly what Artist is doing, because that's the fourth time Artis has done that. He did it on the pistol round, 2 times in regulation, and now once in OT, I think. So Les is super ready for that, but it's kind of whiffy from both players.
First fight lost. NRG are in. The site, by all rights now, should be pretty safe. We know it. Obviously, NRG do not. They still need to go through the list. But this retake, who's waiting? It's going to be Crashes. He could greet them before the expected angle. He tucks in. Oh my god, Artis goes down, but it almost plays into the factor. Do they still check? Yes, they do. Sadek, brilliant heads-up play. Som, there to help him out, but actually... Victor,
Whiffy.
desperate to help him out, but backs away at the
Good
right
help,
time.
though. Good help utility. I think that's... NRG should be great at that kind of stuff. Because Ethan and Crashy's help utility is amazing.
Sadek has to lead the charge for Loud. NRG tucking in now.
Shot and a half, FNS big work, safe pair of hands. Tui's at 24 HP, probably the death of him now. First player seen.
Round.
And such less huge pop-off rounds. 2.
So you'll see.
What the fuck was the final score of this? Was it 18-16? Rushed up, thank you for the 6 months. What's spice level from 1 to 5? What are you asking me? What spice level do I like in my food? What spice level is this game? What spice level what? What are you talking about?
This is something else to make
Different knife position entirely here.
for NRG.
Don't know what that knife is about. Oh, that's where Kawanzin has been playing. When he stuns A.
17 rounds by their name. The one that's so evasive is now, but the rotation, the timing on this is massive. Yes.
So this is the first round, really, where they've done something different with the knife at the beginning of the round.
Yes, he is quick to this, and they are sitting deep. Don't want to allow any of these picks to come in. NRG will probably get a plant from this, but they will not be safe from these deeper post plants.
Roll your minds back. A full 5v5 retake previously for Loud in this very situation.
Aspas versus Finesse in halls.
The tension building, the plant comes in, and they question the discipline.
Aspas tagged up heavily on the flank. He has to peel away.
He does. And that was meant to be a big factor here. Sadek, though,
That's so nice. Kawanzin's aftershock just pushing him into Sadek's POV.
A little bit of a one-way to play with, but it's Som who's going to benefit as well. Less. Ooh, the timing! Crashes finds Sadek, and maybe
It's so whiffy.
Crashes and FNS, the last 2 alive. And they've got their work cut out to say the least. FNS.
It's so whiffy.
It's over.
Tragedy. That final post-plant just looked too easy for them, didn't it? But overall, excellent attack side calling, I think, from NRG, and nice adaptation throughout from Loud to be able to keep up. Yeah, I think certainly that map reinforces my preconceived notions about how Finesse run NRG works. Wait. Yeah. What's going on here? I'm using Firefox again. I didn't think I was. I thought I was using Edge. I've gone back to Firefox. What the fuck? Anyway. Yeah, I think Finesse called a fantastic map there. Just ended up losing. Also, is the way like Finesse likes to call Haven the same as this? Yes. The way that Finesse likes to call Haven is very similar to that map of Fracture on the attack side. Throwing a lot of early round utility that disguises where he's gonna end up and disguises the pace. Maybe that's a good way of doing it, of talking about it, actually. Throwing default utility to disguise the pace. That sums up what he's doing pretty well. Finesse went from this to yelling at Prod in ranked. Oh, fucking hell, not these casters. Okay, I'm going to have to mute this because if I listen to myself cast, I'm just going to get distracted. Okay, how do I get rid of the bar from the bottom? There we go. Who are these jokers? Maybe I can put it on low volume. Right, what did I want to look at here? I can't remember. Let's have a look. So, NRG on defense. Did I want to... Was this the one where NRG did really well on defense? I think it was. NRG versus EG Ascent. Yeah, the defense side was immaculate. All right. So, what I wanted to look at here on their defense side was how Demon 1 liked to play the attack side against them and what they did to stop it. Because I think it's going to be really interesting seeing NRG integrating Demon 1 on this map. Because the way that EG played their attack side and the way that NRG played their attack side, I think was quite different. Both teams like to start with like a defaulty setup into something else. Like again, here, they've gone for... Demon 1's used his dash. They failed to... They just wanted to go for a standard A hit. It got stopped. Demon 1's used his dash, so now they're resetting into mid. And they're very quick about it as well. But I think Demon 1 always liked being inserted in places much more than I saw NRG do on their attack side of this map. I actually don't think this map was a particularly strong one for NRG. On attack. From what I remember. So like here, for example, Demon 1's just been inserted over towards Cat. So now Demon 1 can look for a pick over towards Cat. They have Jorgamo that they can return to at any point in A main. And the rest of the team, well, specifically Ethan and Boostio are going and creating pressure in mid. All right, so now Ethan comes back to Demon 1. Demon 1 does manage to get the pick, but Victor's there. Spike gets dropped. And a 2v2, pretty even. When does Recon come back online for Crashies? Should be fairly soon, shouldn't it? 15 seconds, okay. And Finesse has taken the timing to go for the flank play. I don't know why I'm bothering to watch this 2v2, to be honest with you. It's not going to inform any of my thoughts. I'm just watching it for entertainment value. Okay. No force from EG, so we'll skip this round. Maybe we shouldn't have skipped this round. No, Jogamo died. All good, all good, all good. Okay. Unbreakable knife over towards tiles. Getting info that Demon 1 is in mid. Smoke mid 3 and mid 1. In order to drone and take mid control. Demon 1 goes really aggro down mid because all of this space has been created for him, but doesn't break alarm bot. And now Demon 1's just waiting to see if anybody's going to recontest these areas. Look how Demon 1 here is looking towards this angle. I'll do it in yellow so you guys can see, actually. They've, with the drone, they've taken presence towards this area of the map, right? They haven't spotted the alarm bot, I don't think, so they don't realize that they haven't threatened this completely. But from EG's perspective, they think that they've threatened all the way up to here, which means that NRG are likely to try to re-clear market or re-clear here. And so Demon 1 is looking for a pick on anyone who might jiggle peek market, and now he's looking for a pick on anyone who might peek bottom mid as well. So his team is kind of droned down, and he's looking to try to punish the re-clear, the defensive re-clear. While the rest of his team creates pressure in other areas of the map to make it feel like Demon 1 is probably, you know, over towards Cat or over towards EMEA or something like that. Maybe they do know the alarm bot's here. He seems to be playing around it. Now they break it. It's slow from EG. They trigger the protocol from NRG to go back into defensive positions on B. And now that the B players are turtling, now they're going to try to take advantage of that, the fact that they're so far away, and they're going to go back through catwalk. Jorgamo's just been waiting in A main the entire round for this. So EG have taken a lot of map control here. They own A main. I mean, not the specific A main part, but they own Gelato. They own Gelato, they own Catwalk, they own Market and Pizza. Lots of space. But with 19 seconds left, NRG know that it's coming through and they still have lots of utility. Oh god, that flash is absolutely disgustingly good from Victor. Where did that flash come from? Dude, goddamn, that flash is fucking nasty from Victor. That flash is from all the way back in grass. Like miles back in grass, back here. He throws that through that smoke. That's fucking sick. Sickening. What a disgusting flash for someone to follow up on. And he still has another underhand flash to pop through. Goddamn, that's good. Keep drinking water? I've run out of water. Did Egg do individual pick'ems? No, I didn't actually. Should I do some after this? Yeah, I'll do some individual pick'ems. Why not? I prefer doing the pick'ems like day by day because, you know, with a bracket like this, once you get one of the games wrong, all the others are wrong. So it's just a bit silly, but I'm down to do it for entertainment value. Can you please launch Eggman Incorporated with the roster of Yay, Finesse, Crashies, J Iceman, and Food? Yeah, we'll just travel back in time a little bit. So NRG are basically... NRG are not getting ruined by EG's strategy because they're able to hold on to their defensive utility for so long. Oh, that's another sick flash. That's not another fucking nasty flash from Victor. But yeah, despite EG having all the map control, NRG are not actually fighting them for it. So by the time EG commit to site, NRG still have a lot of utility, and there's not much time on the clock because EG have taken a lot of time getting map control. If you and Fluorescent swap roles, do you think you'd be a better duelist player or would Floor be a better color caster? I have no idea how good Floor would be as a color caster. Not a clue. I would imagine we would both be quite bad, but I'm sure Floor would do a better job than me. Who knows? Maybe Floor would be goated as a color caster. All right, so this round they go for a shark attack play. The tiles crunch. Except Artist gets knifed and loses his. I think color casting's easier to learn than being a pro player. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, if it wasn't, I'd try to be a pro player. You get way more money. All right, we're going to skip this round. You did try, didn't you, in TF2? Yeah, kind of accidentally, just because I like playing the game. I've never tried in any other game. All right, so Demon 1 taking some mid-control again. Getting flashed. Victor tries to get off the angle, but gets caught by Ethan. And now Som's used the Paranoia. So now that the KO is dead and the Paranoia has been used, NRG don't have very much to defend Tree here, apart from Artist with an op. But... yeah, Ethan doesn't have any flashes left either. So could be pretty difficult to get Ardis off an angle. Demon 1 again, just looking to see if anybody's going to recontest him. EG have frozen. The more they freeze, kind of the better it is for EG in this spot, because they know that they don't have to worry about a paranoia. They know that there's no knife coming in to get info about where they are. So NRG are going to be in the dark here. They don't have good info now that the KO's dead. So anything like this is just going to favor EG, this kind of freeze. The tree recon. They get in. This is going to be extremely difficult for some to defend. And he just gets spammed anyway. Tragic. And this is just a save for NRG. So that round, I think NRG just tried to do too much. They were just trying to fight on catwalk for no real reason. I think basically Chet could just tell Victor, don't do that, bro. The previous game plan was working fine. Does 43 deaths count as trying? Like $500 career earnings? I'd like to see you go pro in TF2. Waste your fucking life playing 10,000 hours of that game. For pennies. Yeah, Chet does look high as balls 100% of the time, doesn't he? All right, so this is another one of those rounds where, again, Com drones down mid. Demon 1 follows it. The knife, I don't think the knife actually caught onto Finesse somehow. And Demon 1's looking for that, like, 1v1, right? They've inserted Demon 1 really deep down mid, and he's looking to try to catch people to duel. And the rest of his team is playing very spread around the map. They're just looking for a reaction from NRG. But again, NRG are not re-clearing. They're not looking, they're just happy to give EG this space. They're not using their nade, not using their flash, not using their paranoia. So once EG actually commit to an area of the map, they're still going to have so many tools to fight them. NRG have basically decided in this that the counter strat to how EG plays to turtle. And now EG, with time running low, are forced to actually make a decision. They group up in Gelato. They're going to contact towards... Oh, not contact. I suppose they throw a knife. And now that there's 28 seconds left, now Som can throw his paranoia. Now Victor can try and throw his nade, that kind of thing, to stop this sight hit from coming through. And maybe Demon 1 is going to be able to open something up, but they're not going to be able to pivot to B. There's the smoke. There's the recon to keep them back. Here comes the paranoia to keep them back. There's the nade from Victor as well. It's only Ethan left alive after Demon 1 goes 1-for-1 in mid. Yeah. And I think some of this is going to be coming from Chet. I think a lot of this is probably coming from Chet. The hard anti-stratton of the other teams. But I'm sure Finesse must have had some level of input that NRG are probably going to miss. Look at the turret here from Finesse. Is this just because they're expecting Ethan to get KO ult online? So they'd rather have good info in mid? And just play... just play as their... You know, the Killjoy does nothing? So they break turret. Artis is set up over towards B main. This 1-3-1 setup. Oh, God. Very wide peak from Boostio. Not anticipating that Artis was pushed out that wide. Oh. Yeah. Again, an off angle from Victor that they weren't expecting. Both Artis and Victor feasting with the off angles in this round. Absolutely feasting. So they're going for a cat control setup here where Finesse is playing mid as well. Sometimes they did a trap play NRG with this, where Artis would dash away and bait for Finesse, who was just hiding in the corner. I guess that's not a trap play, that's a bait play. But also they've got the Nanoswarm setups for a retake A. So they're happy if EG goes towards A this round. Artis uses dash early. He gets out. Oh, Finesse is also spotted though, so Finesse also leaving. He wants to keep his Killjoy online. Recon dart used over towards tiles. Now drone as well is going to set Artis up to towards B. So they have good B info. Boostio's just taking a timing through there. It's crazy how much map control EG has, and yet how little they're able to do with it in this map. Obviously, Artis in the last 2 rounds has been playing aggro and B main, which is a big limiting factor. But in general, EG have had massive map control and haven't been able to convert anything from it. So this is actually... It's pretty interesting to consider this defense versus what we were watching from Furia earlier, because it's almost exactly the opposite. I suppose Artis has been playing fairly aggressively the last 2 rounds with the operator, but in a kind of like just looking for a pick, looking for somebody to walk into him, not necessarily forcing the action. But the Furia game, the defense was very much trying to force it and fighting constantly with the jet over all of the different areas of the map. Whereas there are so many moments in this defense where EG have the whole of mid, whole of pizza, whole of market, all of gelato, all of catwalk, and NRG are just still chilling. They're just still chilling. No one's facing. They're just ready for EG to cross the line into a choke point so that they can fight them with utility and crossfires. Very different to the way that Furia were approaching this in the VOD that we watched earlier today. 7-2 to Thinking Men right now. I can't remember who was on that roster. I remember looking at the roster, and it was like a bunch of old heads, wasn't it? Who do you all think is the best support player in the history of Valorant so far? I would say it is Leo. And if you don't think it's Leo, I think it's Ethan. Probably. Les isn't a support player. It's Leo, then Chronicle, then like Crashies. Do you mean like are you taking into account longevity rather than peak? If so, then sure, I agree. But if you're talking peak, I think Ethan's supportive play last year was astounding. In my opinion, second only to Leo. But yeah, if you're taking into account longevity, then it's got to be people like Chronicle, Crashies, who've been around for so long, being so good for so long. If Furia wins tomorrow, I will sub to you. Well then, not getting my sub. If 100 Thieves wins Champions, I'll sub to you. Okay, there's a little Demon 1 play. Finding a player that's in a, exposed-ish kind of position. Little smoke there as well from Jorgamo is quite nice, and then they flash through it. I don't remember Ethan getting a knife kill in this game. Wait, what the fuck did we say about this?
Close, there we go. A glimpse of something, some of that mechanical prowess that we've been talking about so often. Artist now expects it to be pushed up through heaven. He actually dodges the flash off of this one onto the high ground angle. Ethan, shots barreling down into him up this way. Oh boy! What am I watching? Absurd!
Okay, that was worth unmuting for. Raise the volume? No. Okay. I don't think we're going to get much more from this game. I think it's time to go to the next map. God damn. What an anchor. What a legend. Yeah, okay. So, did we learn anything from that? Don't know. It kind of depends. If NRG set up Demon 1 the same way that EG set up Demon 1, then it'll be useful. But maybe not. If NRG play Ascent tomorrow and they're trying to set up Demon 1 on the attack side, and then there might be something interesting to contrast that to the way that EG were doing it. We'll see. Oh, okay, let's do some pick'ems, because I've got 15 gifted if I accurately predict all of the Pacific matches this weekend. And I am actually Nostradamus, so I'm about to hit this. Pacific, eh? Pacific. Pick'ems. All Pacific matches this weekend. Wait, how many are this weekend? 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I mean, what do you count as this weekend? Opening group stages. Okay, so you don't mean this weekend, you mean this week. That's a little more difficult. All right. T1 are beating Bleed, but I think it's a really close game. I think that's going to be a fucking banger, actually. Zeta are beating Global, and I don't think it's going to be mega close. I think Zeta are going to win that one somewhat comfortably. Bleed win that game. T1 win that game. I'm not super high on Zeta, but I'm fairly high on them. Now, what the fuck are Bleed doing? This is so difficult to call. I just don't know what the hell Bleed are up to. It's so difficult to know. G2 is the only Ascension team that I think you can be confident in placing somewhere on the table. The others, General Mates and Bleed, even Dragon Rangers, actually. But I suppose Dragon Rangers are more obvious where to put them as well. But, dude, General Mates and Bleed, who the fuck knows how those guys are going to play? I'm going to assume that Zeta Division play some weird compositions. Oh, so are Bleed, though. Bleed are going to play some wacky shit. Bleed are going to play some dumbass shit. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this game. But let's say it's... Fuck it. For the culture, let's say Bleed. I have no idea. DRX are winning that one, though. And Team Secret are winning that one. Dude, the fucking toilet bowl down here. Who's winning the toilet bowl? I don't know. I can't even remember what we said on Plat Chat either. I guess I'll go with Talon. Dude, I don't know. Fuck it. I guess I'll go with Talon. I don't know. We'll go DRX, Secret. And then... Yeah, Genji RRQ's an interesting one. I think I'm leaning RRQ, but I think that one's another quite close game, really. Definitely both teams have an extremely good chance of winning it. Paper X should be able to win that game. Another RRQ Genji. I mean, fuck knows, man. Should I just lock in the double RRQ? Yeah, fuck it. I don't know. The only teams I feel confident about, I think T1's getting out of their group. I think DRX and Secret are getting out of their group. And I think Paper X is getting out of their group. But I could see Genji. And I could see Zeta. And obviously some of these games might be like mixed up. What happened to Wyatt's Law? I've ignored it. Thoughts on my Group B? What have you done? What? Oh, Team Secret over DRX. Oh, Talon over DRX? Okay, no. No. The Team Secret over DRX? Based, actually. Based interesting prediction. The Talon over DRX, you cooked too hard. Yeah, I'm not really confident about these picks. I'm confident about some of them, but not all of them. Not by any means. No, I didn't mean to look at Masters Madrid. What have I missed? EMEA. Where's the EMEA? EMEA kickoff. Here we go. All right, let's do some pick'ems. America's kickoff. I've got NRG winning that game, but I think there are still ways that Furia can win that. I don't think NRG should be considered locks to win the entire event until we've actually seen them play. I think Cloud9 win this one. Furia should win that one. NRG should be able to beat Cloud9. And I think that... Yeah, I actually believe in Furia to be able to get past Cloud9. Loud versus Sentinels. This one's silly too. I have no idea really what to expect from QCK Loud, but I'm going to go with Loud, like I said on Plat Chat. Not for any real reason, just because they've been such a consistent team for so long. I believe in the core of that team. I think they're going to have an interesting idea on how to play the game. And there's a lot of footage on Sentinels, and Sentinels also, weren't playing against the most elite competition in the offseason. I don't know. I really don't know. I think Sentinels are on paper favorites, actually, which is kind of a weird thing to say. But I've got Leviathan beating 100 Thieves. I've got Sentinels beating 100 Thieves. What the fuck have I got here? What have I got with Loud Leviathan? don't know. I don't know. I'm going to go with Loud and then Sentinels. I don't know how the hell this group's going to work. I think there's way too many unknowns to do any kind of serious pick'em for this group. We don't know what Loud or Leviathan are really going to play like. We haven't seen Leviathan play with Com at all, but obviously they're a stacked roster. I don't know how good Leviathan's team play is going to be compared to Sentinels, who have massively improved in that department, and Loud, who have always been amazing in that department. The calling from Sadak should be better than the calling from King, I think, based on what it has been in the past. But who knows? Who knows? G2 over Crew, G2 over EG, and I don't know what to do about this EG Crew game, to be honest with you. I don't know what to think. It should be evenly matched, I think. I'm going to go with Crew just because they've had a bit more time together, I suppose. But not confident about that. The only teams that I'm confident about getting out of the group are... I think G2 should get out their group. And I think NRG should get out their group. Apart from that, I'm not confident about anything. It's America's is really up in the air, I think. I think the EG roster is actually pretty decent. Yeah, it's okay, but it's come together fairly last minute. It's not as good as plenty of other teams, although in their group, the only team it's not as good as on paper is G2. But, you know, it's pretty similar in terms of firepower to Crew. And I think that Crew have, I'm just banking on them having been together for a little longer. I think it's pretty hard to tell. Which match has the highest possibility of an upset? Mate, I don't even know what an upset is for half of these matches. Is that an upset? Is that an upset? Is that an upset? Is that an upset? I don't know what an upset is anymore. So a lot of them are very coin flippy. All right, let's do China. I feel like China is more clear cut, but also the Chinese teams do upset each other fairly often. But I think those I'm very confident about. This I'm not that confident about, but I think FPX, to be honest, I really don't like the way the FPX play, but I think they're probably winning that game. I think Trace and FPX should both be clear favorites to make it out of the group, though. I think JDG beats Titan, but I don't know exactly how good JDG are going to be without Yeoman. Dragon Rangers, I'm pretty confident beating All Gamers. I'm pretty confident about Titan beating All Gamers as well. And then I think Dragon Rangers should be able to beat JDG again, especially considering JDG have lost their IGL. I think JDG, though, should be able to beat Titan, but I think that could be close, depending on how different they are with the new IGL. I don't know about this game. I think this is one of the most even games of the opening rounds. I did go for Billy Billy on Plat Chat, but the more that I think about it, the more I'm inclined to go for Wolverhampton Wolves. I think the roster that they've put together is pretty good, and Billy Billy's been pretty terrible recently. So I'm inclined to go Wolves. EDG should beat Wolves, and then fuck it, we'll go Wolves again. I don't know. But I'm fairly confident in all of these teams, apart from I don't know who's going to make it out between Wolves and Billy Billy. But the weird part is I feel most confident about China. I think China might have the biggest difference between the top and the bottom. Titan could definitely get out of the group over JD. I feel like FPX and Trace should be locks to get out. Dragon Rangers should be a lock to get out. EDG, they are a lock to get out. So, Yeah, I think there's some chance of Titan, and I think there's a good chance of Bilibili. But otherwise, I'm pretty confident in the China ones. Do Wolves own a part of EG, or are they just a sponsor? I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked into it. Perfect Publican, thank you for the tier 3 sub for 1 year. PogChamp, thank you, thank you. JDG would clear if they were playing with their previous roster entirely, TX Leaf, but they've had to cut their IGL because they had too many imports. So they have a brand new caller. And that's why I'm saying, that's why I don't have them like winning the group or saying that they're a lock to get through, because I just don't know how they're going to play with the new IGL. EMEA. Okay. I've got Foot Beating Heretics. I really don't know what to pick between Giant and Karmine Core. My head says Giants, my heart says Karmine Core. I'm going with my heart. We're going Karmine Core. I'm going with my fucking heart. Foot winning that game, though. Giants winning that game. Giants win the rematch. We go with the heart, then we go with the head. Na'Vi and Liquid should be clear favorites here. I think Na'Vi should be a clear favorite over Liquid, in my opinion. BBL versus Koi is a bit of a toss-up, but I'm going to give it to BBL because I think they should just be a bit more consistent, and then Liquid should be better than BBL. Vitality, I think, should be better than Gentle Mates. Fnatic should be better than Vitality. And I think Vitality... Yeah, I mean, I think EMEA is also relatively easy to predict. Karmine Core could make an upset in this group. I mean, I see Na'Vi and Liquid being able to make it through that group fairly easily. And Fnatic Vitality should make it through that group. Maybe Gentle Mates could make it interesting. But I think Karmine Core are the only team to really be keeping an eye on, I think. Z-Snack, thank you for the new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Here's an important query. Will you be watching the Battle of France in 6 days' time? Yeah, let me have a look, actually. What time are these games going on? Yes, I will. I'll be doing co-streams for these games. So when these games are live at 8 a.m. Pacific time, I'll be doing co-streams for them. What time are the China games, actually? I didn't look at that. Oof. Oof, ouch, owie, my dick and balls. I might be able to do co-streams for the late games in China. If the late games are delayed, the thing is, though, I don't want to do a co-stream of FPX Nova. That is just going to be terrible. That game, though, Bilibili Wolves, I'll probably do a co-stream of that. Bilibili Wolves. Because I'm trying to wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m. LA time. So I'll probably do a co-stream of like Bilibili. In fact, actually, I could probably come up with a schedule of what my co-stream is going to look like right now. That's probably a good idea, isn't it? All right, so Americas is first, then Pacific, then EMEA. All right, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at... oh, well, I'm not going to co-stream any of the Americas games, am I? Because I'm going to be working. Yeah. Let me just have a look. Yeah, I'm working every day. Like, in theory, I could do a co-stream of C9 MIBR or Leviathan 100 Thieves. But also, I don't think I will. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. Because there isn't a very good place to get set up. And if they have, like, you know, if one of the casters fucking breaks their leg or something, then I'll be required, like, that kind of thing. Beck FPS, thank you for the 3 months. Moms for cyberbullying, thank you for the Prime as well. All right, so... Wait, so what are we doing then? So I'm not co-streaming any of the Americas games this week. So, Pacific. I'm going to co-stream T1 versus Bleed. That's at 10 p.m. on the 16th. Then I'm going to go to bed before this game, which is a pity because it's a banger. Oops. Fuck. So, yeah, we'll do T1 versus Bleed. Then it's the 17th, and I'm casting 18th, etc., etc., etc. I don't think I'm going to do any of the rest of the... Oh, wait. TBD plays against Paper Rex at 10 p.m. then as well. Wait a second. Wait, who plays against Paper Rex? That's probably... We just did the pick'ems, man. We literally just did the pick'ems. Oh, Genji or RRQ. Is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, so we'll do TBD versus Paper Rex. And then, are there any other games happening at 10 a.m. that week? 10 p.m. that week? It doesn't look like it, right? 10, 12, 2, 12, 2, 10, 12, 2, 12, 2, 10. Oh, this one. What is this one? Wait, there's another little fucker at 10 p.m. as well. What the hell are these? Decider game in Group C. Decider game Group C. Ah, the bottom game here. Okay. So this is probably going to be... Right, so that's going to be like Genji RRQ probably again. And then the play-ins game. First game of the play-ins too. Okay. And then on EMEA, we can do... Let me have a look. So, how does this interact with my... Oh, we're not on the 20th. Those are my days off. And what day are we back on America's? The 23rd. Okay, so I can't do this game. TBD against Fnatic. Ah, that's unfortunate. That's going to be like the Vitality Fnatic game. But I can probably do that game. So I can do a lot of the EMEA games. And some of the China games, but not many. Okay, cool. I'm not going to co-stream the Valorant North America one. I don't have permissions to do it. And I'm not going to bother looking up whether I have the permissions. I've got a game plan for today. There's literally like 3 rounds. So what would the value be? I have no idea what's been happening in the game. Okay.
So all expectations.
Oh, it's fucking us casting again. Right. I've got to remind myself what this game was. EG NRG. So this is Split. Ah, this was where NRG hammered A ramp takes over and over and over again. And just fucking blasted Evil Geniuses. Okay, so let's have a look at Finesse's attack side calling here.
It's the defensive side of EG.
All right, so early round, I need to learn that lineup. So pistol round, they go for the B hit. And Boostio gets wrecked. Oh, com pops off. But they literally exit B in order to just end A. Phenomenal mid-round call. Presumably by Som. So they end A. 2v2. Did they win this? Yeah, Crashies wins these, right? Oh, maybe not. Oh, he did. He bought enough time. Sick. All right, so then in this round, let's have a look at what they do here. So they throw the orb. Finesse throws orb. They're doing a 1-1-3 default. They boombot mid. The only player that they've shown is the Viper. And they spring the trap on the 3 players trying to push down. Ethan still managed to get 2 with a classic, which is bonkers. And he's looking for more. But what a sick idea that is. Such a great call from NRG there. Just making it look like it's only Finesse over towards A. Using him as a little bait on the end of the rod. On the end of the stick. How does Ethan get 2? Don't know. Don't know, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. All right, another round. Another round where it's just... I was going to say just the Viper utility over towards A, but it wasn't. They sent a flash in there as well, and Ardis was spamming. Ethan counter spams, kills Ardis, and now they know that NRG are trying to full take a ramp with a lot of their players. Crashies hasn't used dog yet. They tried to flash to clear top ramp, but it doesn't quite get there from Ethan, I don't think. And now that NRG have threatened that they have control of this A ramp area, that flash is pretty good though from Ethan. Now they're going to work back towards the rest of the map. I mean, this is ridiculous calling from Finesse. And they've completely caught Demon 1 out. Completely caught him. I mean, the pathing here is just fantastic. They're putting a huge amount of pressure over towards A ramp. And then they go back, go all the way around here, and then they pinch Demon 1 on ramp. All using the same Viper wall. Sick. Just really intelligent pathing to try to break apart how EG are fighting over ramp control. God damn. All right, what was the jet smoke tech? You're baiting me into caring about this game. Stop caring about it. Stop trying. Jet smoked Ascent A Heaven on top to create a one-way on someone in hell. What, like as he was retaking? That's pretty sick. Cool idea. Right. So this is... So Finesse throws the orb at the beginning of this round, and they're playing extremely quietly on this anti-eco round. They haven't used any other utility. Just waiting for EG to do something at the start. And now they're just contacting into mid behind the smoke. Catch Demon 1 again. I wonder if we'll see this quantity of slow-paced rounds from NRG. I feel like the comps that they're going to be running are way higher tempo than this. I mean, this comp can be really high tempo as well with the double duelist, but I think if they're running like Gecko Breach kind of stuff or Gecko Sky, surely they're going to be like sending it sometimes. A bit more like the Fracture, where they stutter step the fast hits. Pretty nasty round from Ethan, but all over. All right, so this is, again, Finesse throwing the same orb over towards A. How is Finesse avoiding getting caught by a potential Jet that's playing aggro A here? I don't really understand that. The like kind of angle that Aspas loves playing would surely catch Finesse as he goes for that. So they're still using the dog to re-clear towards A at this point in the round. But they've got a pit B heaven. All right, so now what's the call to get through this? B split with dog and Boombot? Oh no, they've already used Boombot. Oh, they have the ult. Victor has ult. Do you just send hell? Yeah. He didn't do very much damage to Com, though. And Com still manages to kill Crashies. How did Com die? Did he come out of the ult? No, he just got spammed by some. All right. So they have a plan to try to get through the pit here. And then even when it fails, the rest of the team is just nicely aggressive and they get a bit lucky with the spam into the pit. It's a good idea. NRG's pit protocols were always really good, I think. Here's the timestamp of the whole round. All right, let's have a look at this. You've baited me. You've fucking baited me.
It was so good. Always a plan in mind for Blinn. Always a plan. And once more, Thinking Men potentially now going to map 3. They have to convert this next round to bring it to overtime. Right away, Paint does something different. An elevated angle. Spotting out now. Okeanos is not available in mid. He's pushed up aggressively somewhere, but where? That turret being spotted might be the answer wire. But can there be the trade? Reforms have a dangerous task ahead of him.
How long does he want to keep it? I think he might quit early. Yeah.
He's going for it.
He's just going to go into court.
All right, so they just...
Wants it and finds it!
What an angle.
Anytime he has a moment of reprieve, he's just able to light up this kill feed.
KO's been to the King school
Rest
of
of Blinn
gameplay.
see that as the
God,
opportunity.
look at that. Look at that timing that Paint's gotten all the way through tree, though.
To maybe collapse, but Paint...
What a nasty timing.
He has a moment of reprieve.
God, he just took that so opportunistically.
Rest of Blinn see that as the opportunity to maybe collapse, but Paint has somehow skirted all of that attention. And while
This
Blinn
is a
knows
sick
that there's
position.
somebody in their hair, they don't know who or where.
Goddamn.
Mikey! The one caught with the knife on Paint!
Monty
Beautiful micro adjustment.
a little
and this
oblivious
might
there as
save
to
the game
the
for
danger.
Thinking Men. They're aware. Teague is waiting, but Paint is watching. 3 now for the Jet.
Hell.
Who's in hell? Paint's asking that question. It's not is somebody in hell. It is who's in hell. It's Spaz. Misses the first shot. Paint adjusts up on the cloudburst. Are you joking right now? And Okeanos
That is sick. That is absolutely sick. The fact that he does it on the fly.
It's asking that question. It's not is somebody in hell. It is who's in hell. It's Spaz. Misses
The fact he does it on the fly like that is so fucking cool.
the first shot. Paint adjusts up on the cloudburst. Are you joking right now? And Okeanos has to save face. Has Blinn.
Yeah, that is a
Has
bonkers
enough.
round.
Has 3 more bodies to deal with.
Oh, is
But
this
there's
why you were
a
saying
man
it was
who
a
wants an
4K
ace
versus
right now.
4K?
He wants it bad. Oh, Okeanos! Somebody's getting an ace. Somebody's getting an ace here.
There's 10 seconds left.
Paint has to
I
win
mean,
this fight.
Okeanos can just
is gonna
win the round by
sacrifice the
staying
ace.
alive.
Paint can't win it. Blinn win on time.
Oh, I'd be molding if I was Paint.
Blinn win on time. 13-11. We're going to map 3.
Oh, that was the final round as well. Oh my god. That's tragic. That is tragic. Yeah, I mean, fantastic individual play there from Paint. That is really cool. That usage of the Cloudburst is extremely cool. I'm trying to think, how often can you actually do that, though? I think you could do that for, I think you could do that for retakes, or like, you know, like 1v1, 2v2 kind of situations where you know the player's in hell. Because it's pretty difficult if you're tucked all the way on the side for the player in hell to force the fight. Because it's that weird, like, staple shape, right? It's like that kind of shape. So if you're the attacker and you're tucked around there, I think the Jet playing, like, here or at Jenny should have quite a lot of time to set up those Cloudburst peaks in 1vx situations when you know the rest of the site is clear. Not very often where that tech's going to be useful, but somewhat often. And to be honest, you might be able to throw a Cloudburst like here as you retake and still have people coming from double door, not double door, breakable door, that could find value out of it. I think that could get used more often. That's pretty sick. You're solo out of heaven and your team goes tree? Yeah, that's not very common on a retake, though. You really want to dominate heaven. Normally you have at least 3 people going heaven. Is the lore of Paint's name from the E-dating rank duo names of Paint and I Finger Paint? Is that a... Oh, God. The E-dating names like I Piss in Grass and Grass? No, that's not a duo name. No. Lord have mercy on us all. Lord have mercy on us. That's a classic? I haven't seen these. I haven't seen these before. I've seen like his Jet, her Sage, that kind of thing. But Grass and I Touch Grass? Yeah, okay, that makes more sense than I Piss in Grass. God damn. Innocent Child and White Van? Come on. What the fuck are these duo names? My favorite is Lovers by Choice and Cousins by Chance. What? Like one person is named Lovers by Choice and the other's named Cousins by Chance? What the fuck? I come in peace and peace. Oh my god. That one's so good. That's so good. What the fuck? Ah. Ice and I make ice cream. Holy shit, where are you guys getting these from? They're so good. I have never seen these. I have never seen these. Holy fuck. I've seen Bubbles and I blow bubbles. That one's a classic one. That one's like an old school, like, stand-up bit. But I haven't seen some of these others. I haven't seen Ice and Ice Cream. NA Ranked is cooking, apparently. What the fuck? Oh my god. I come in clutch and clutch. Fuck. There's no way. There's no way. That's wild. Me and Bren really should change our names. Me and Bren should change our names. What are some safe for work ones? What are some like sus but safe for work ones? Like if I could reference something on the Valorant broadcast, because I can't say this duo grass and I touch grass. They're all so fucking lewd. The National Geographic, thank you for the Prime. I'm doing this and this. Finishing up and up. Wow. These are bonkers. Lovers by choice and cousins by chance is surely safe for work. I don't think referencing cousin incest is amazing for the Riot broadcast. I mean, having said that, my grandparents on my mother's side were cousins. Not my grandparents, sorry, my great-grandparents. My great-grandparents. It happened back then. It's legal. It happened. Classic Brit? Yeah, dude. All of you have a tangled web of incest that has created you. Go back far enough in your family trees and there are some knotted roots. You and Ludwig both? Yeah, don't follow that up with Europe is crazy sometimes. Y'all out here still fucking your cousins in the year 2024. Yeah, most of Europe has moved on. You still out here cousin fucking in the year of our Lord. Who is? Americans. That's who is. Even Greek gods committed incest. You can't say even with the word Greek gods. Greek gods were turning into swans and going down fucking inseminating women left, right, and center. Greek gods were doing the most heinous shit. You can't say even the Greek gods. Yeah, Greek gods did everything. Yeah, I saw HSK change from coach to player. I think he's just being a sub, though, Sanjeev. Didn't Zeus turn into a cow to get fucked? Yeah, probably. I think he turned into a bunch of different animals. West Virginia, fuck my mama, take me home. Country road. That's how that song goes, right? It's literally about incest. Yeah, how did we get onto the topic of incest, chat? Those are not the lyrics? That's what I've always heard. Yeah, why? How did we get here? Oh, E-data names. Yeah, E-data names. My salt, her pepper. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. One guy was talking about Paint's name. I mean, it was a very funny comment. I mean, if somebody on that team changed their name to I Finger Paint, that would go super hard. I mean, that's going viral. It just is. Everybody around the Valorant world and the larger gaming sphere is hearing about that. Yeah, okay. Let's continue watching this. Or at least paying some level of attention to this. Alright, so Energy going back to their 1-4 default. They were doing a 1-1-3 earlier as well, but generally just kind of like taking some ramp control early on. And this is the first time they've turned it into an A exec. So, oops. Alright, well they still catch Ethan, because Victor somehow didn't get flashed by that. Jorgamo slipped into hell. Oh, okay, Victor still manages to take him out. A bit of a nice double face there as Ardis updrafted and then Victor swung. Good work pulling attention. Why are we VOD reviewing old NRG? Because I want to get a really, really good feel for the way that Demon 1 played Jet and the way that Finesse called, so that I can contrast the way that Ethan is calling and Demon 1's playing Jet on the new NRG. Anyway, this round's a save. But it's a similar kind of thing to the way that they were playing their attack side of Fracture. They're doing something, some piece of map control play, which here is a ramp control. And then they're sometimes turning it into a default where they go back over towards B, sometimes turning it into a default where they wrap back through vents and put pressure ramp, sometimes turning it into a fast A hit. Presumably at some point they will turn it into a fast heaven take as well. I mean, maybe this round. Somehow Demon 1 didn't get blinded by that. Wait, actually, how did he not? Did he micro flick it off his screen? No. He just, I guess it just popped too far to the side of his camera and it didn't fully blind him. E-dating was also not a really big thing before Discord. At least as far as I'm aware, it wasn't a mainstream thing. In the sense that you would hop onto some kind of voice chat together and play video games anyway. People would message each other, but they're not doing that at the same time as playing video games with each other. Like back in my day, when we were using Skype instead of Discord, we weren't doing it to play games with each other. We were just Skype, like FaceTiming each other. I think Discord changed that behavior a little bit when it became really big. Mr. Eli, thank you for the Prime. So I think that's one of the biggest differences in terms of e-dating behavior, is just the popularity of Discord and its association with gamer culture. I don't think it's really got much to do with Valorant. So you see here in this round how they start with the ramp pressure early on, and then they go back into using that ramp pressure in order to walk up mid. And once they're at mid, now they can try and put the squeeze on people inside vents. And this is either going to allow them to try to get picks on Ethan or Demon 1, or it's going to pull more people over towards A so that they can help Demon 1 stay on ramp, and that's going to allow NRG to make the call to hit B. So at some point here, Crashy should get the info that, yeah, so now he knows that Demon 1 is still over towards A ramp. Now they know that there has to be somebody watching Ethan's back, and there has to be, like, they know that there's 3 people A, basically, because they know that there's somebody vents, they know that Ethan is still posted there, and they know that someone's hard anchoring site. So now they can go into a B hit. And Artist being able to trade out that kill on Boostio is pretty massive. Finesse goes to see if he can try and find a timing, but then realizes it's just safer to go into B here. And Com gets caught. Curse was used before, no? Dude, I don't think that many people had curse kittens. I don't think people were doing too much e-dating on the curse platform, I think. I think maybe hardcore gamers underestimate how much casual people have started using Discord, especially over the pandemic. It really has captured a much, much wider audience than TeamSpeak, Ventrilo, Mumble, Skype, that kind of thing. Well, maybe not Skype, but it's used for a different thing than Skype. AOL Messenger kittens? I'm talking MSN Messenger kittens. Even I'm not old enough to remember AOL Messenger. As a teacher, a lot of my students use it. You shouldn't be e-dating your students. I just want to put that out there. That's worse than cousin fucking. We'll assume you're not doing that. I just thought I'd mention it. I'm not Jesus Christ. Did Jesus Christ fuck his students? What relevance does that have? Hex, Optic, and a bunch of the CDL teams are suing Activision for a monopoly over Call of Duty Esports. Pretty insane. That's... Do you have the details? Like, is that because they imposed a salary cap? Why would the... Are they literally suing them? I don't understand how they would hope to win that. Like, what? On what basis do they have a claim there? It's literally the developer's IP. I mean, if they were to ever win a case like that, surely it would have massive ramifications for whether the developer can just lock down their game. Like, that would set a precedent if they were actually able to... If they were able to win that case, that sounds like it would set a precedent that developers would would have to allow third-party tournament operators to have access to their games, or like they wouldn't be able to lock down portions of their circuit. Like that would be a crazy case for esports if they ruled in favor of the teams. But that is, I just can't see them. I can't see them ever winning. Not that I'm a lawyer, but what basis do they have? It's like, isn't it like, I don't know, maybe if the judge thought that it was genuinely a sport rather than a game? I don't know. I really don't understand how they would have any validity to that. But I could see enormous ramifications for every developer if that was the case. Does anyone know the name of that extension that lets you get around paywalled articles? I think I have a Bloomberg account. Maybe I don't. I had to buy one at one point because I wanted to use their article in a video. But I might have cancelled it. I do have an account, but I didn't subscribe. That's the thing. Bloomberg's really expensive, even compared to other journalistic online websites. All right, sorry. Beginning of this round, they have the same thing, A ramp pressure, and then they immediately go into an A hit. Victor beefs his movement a little bit because he bounces a blast pack off Ardis's back. They plan for heaven. And then pit, that is a monstrous pit. Just covers the entirety of front sight. You're going to take so much damage trying to get the defuse down there. Part of it says that Activision coerced 12 teams to pay a $27.5 million entry fee to participate and give Activision unconditional 50% share of revenue the team generated from ticket sales, sponsorships, etc. $27.5 million entry fee to Call of Duty League is absurd. But also, I don't think well, first of all, most Overwatch League teams in fact, as far as I'm aware, all Overwatch League teams didn't pay that much money. And I don't think the Overwatch League teams had to give 50% of their revenue to Activision. That's fucking ludicrous. Unconditional 50% share of the revenue they generate from ticket sales, sponsorships, etc. is fucking crazy. That's ludicrous. The franchise fees payment is also paused for LCS and League of Legends too. Well, they paused it for Overwatch League and CDL, I think. Well, maybe they didn't pause it for CDL. I thought they had though. There was some reporting about this. I think Jacob Wolf reported on it because he said that Activision Blizzard was still owed hundreds of millions, I think, in franchise fees that they decided to pause. But the size of the entry fee is horrendous. I mean, absolutely horrendous. And the 50% share of the revenue is bonkers. It's just absolutely bonkers. But at the same time, just because you signed up to an absolutely terrible contract, in what way were you coerced? In what way do you have a right to be involved that they've strong-armed you with a monopoly? Obviously, they do have huge amounts of power because they're the developer. But I just can't see how this is a valid legal claim because I suppose what I was about to say was all of the organizations involved could participate in a range of different esports, and participating in the Call of Duty League is at the whim of the person who owns the intellectual property. But the individual brands that Activision forced the teams to create are actually only allowed to compete in that one game. So, for example, what are they called? The Seattle Surge or something, or the London Ravens or something like that. They don't have any choice in where they compete because those brands are locked into only competing in CDL. I think it's more about the 50% share, which is why Scump is suing as well. If he wanted to continue his profession as a pro, he had to give 50% of his brand deals to Activision. But my point is, what grounds do they have to sue that? Is it because the CJEU has signaled that sports associations cannot flat out prevent the establishment of alternate sports competitions or the participation of athletes and clubs in such competitions. Yeah, again, though, I don't see... I feel like the defense from Activision is saying this isn't a sport, it's a game, and when you sign up, you accept the terms of service saying that playing this game is at our sole discretion. Do you see what I mean? It's not just a sport, it's also they're allowing you access to the game. Maybe just trying to pressure Activision through public perception. Yeah, it actually could be that, right? They might not be intending to take the lawsuit anywhere. They might just want this information out in the public domain, and because they've signed NDAs, having some kind of lawsuit's the only way to get it out in the open. I'm not sure. But the lawsuit filed by CDM team owners alleges that Activision bought MLG in 2016 to fully monopolize its esports business, Activision failed to get FTC permission to acquire MLG. But that also, again, that doesn't really make sense at all. Because at any point, Activision could have just rescinded the tournament operating agreement from MLG. They always could have done that. It doesn't matter whether or not they owned MLG. They could have just retracted their ability to run the tournaments. So I feel like if you're suing here, you've got to try and make the case that this is a sport, not a game. That you're not bound by the terms of service, and it's actually something that all of the competitors should have a right to an open system. T-Bug, thank you for the tier 1. I think that's going to be an extremely interesting case to follow, though, if it goes anywhere. I would be really interested to know how they attempt to argue that against Activision. Because that sounds like an uphill battle. A serious uphill battle, but one with fucking enormous ramifications for every developer. Okay, so NRG have got a nasty post plan going on right now. They dominate the site. Demon 1 killed Artis. Finesse has killed another one. And another one. It's Jova. They go for a tack timeout. How do you either need to stop NRG from being able to take control of ramp, or you need to be aggressively playing mid. Yeah, okay. So they're gonna fake that they're fighting ramp, and instead they're fighting mid. Cool idea from EG. Combining the two ideas that I just said. So now NRG think that there's a lot of people over towards ramp. They're trying to take mid control, and now EG are actually fighting them in mid. So great read coming out of the timeout from EG. NRG might still be able to win this because they've got gun advantage, but ooh, Som and Demon 1 just missed the timing on each other there. And now that Demon 1's dead, I think NRG can try to slow things down and go back to A. EG are going to anticipate that and put 2 people on A. But yeah, NRG have got plenty of time here. They don't need to play fast. They are going to group A because they think that that makes the most sense. I think that makes the most sense. EG think that makes the most sense, which is why it actually doesn't make the most sense. Because EG are there ready and waiting for them. But there's only 2 people. Ethan has full utility, though. Might be able to get some kind of pop flashes working with the Stinger. Yeah, I could see, actually, the players. I could see Scump's claim being more valid than the team's claim. Because there are, like, the CDL is still required to operate via the antitrust regulations. That's why stuff like the salary cap isn't allowed in those kind of leagues because the players don't have a collective bargaining agreement. So the players, I think, like Scump, actually might have a case. It's the team's part that seems like a stretch to me. But maybe the teams can argue something similar, that they've been pressured into updating their agreements or something. Or maybe they could say that they've been, I don't know. All right, so they clean this round up. Take a look at the next one from NRG. So this is one of the first rounds where NRG don't try to put pressure towards a ramp at the start. Just very heavy towards mid right from the beginning. Going for like a kind of a 1-3-1, but they turn it super quickly into a B split. Oh, not super quickly, but fairly quickly. A quiet B split. Almost looked like Finesse was looking at the minimap there, but good trade from Som as well. And they've got into B. Yeah, it's really not that late for me. It's 8 p.m. The thing is, though, I went to bed at 7 p.m. yesterday, so I do want to kind of stop my stream fairly soon. I've already been streaming for nearly 8 hours. All right, let's skip this. Final round to watch. All right, what do they do here? So now Finesse is playing much more passively over towards A. And I think the reason is he's worried about the Raze ult. How often does the... Oh, the Raze ult's only just come online. Wait, they must have had a Raze ult earlier in the half, though, as well. What did the previous Raze ult get used on? Oh, the previous Raze ult got used in the middle of the round. No, it didn't. Wait, it did? Yo, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh, fight.
Oh, it did. Jogomo.
Now active for Ardis, out to the...
Oh, it just got completely wasted. So this is actually Jogomo's first Raze ult, and that's the reason why NRG aren't taking early ramp control. God, we actually might have seen a totally different map if Jogomo got his ult up earlier and not just decided to use it. Because the presence of this ult alone is actually stopping NRG from taking ramp control because they're worried that they're going to get ulted on. Cool to see that they've thought that through. Yeah, now they're fully clearing out ramp. Getting ready to raise ult off the back of that as well. So yeah, they went back into a 1-3-1 kind of default here. And mid has just opened up so much because they've dragged EG to having 3 players around ramp. So they've just opened up so much space for themselves by having a plan at the beginning of the game. I think I fixed the time command, by the way. Ooh, thank you, Retro. W mod indeed. The coder. Artist goes for a peek, dashes away, then they set up a double peek afterwards. Victor drops into hell at the same time as Artist goes out over rafters. And now, can Demon 1 do anything? Taking a timing through a smoke, perhaps? Nope. Finesse actually whacks him. I've always said Finesse has better mechanics than Demon 1. Always said it. Alright, so, yeah. Bonkers game. Do we want to watch some of these other maps? Or do we want to go the fuck to bed, actually? Let me have a look. I want to wake up at 6 a.m. So if I want to wake up at 6 a.m. and I want to get 8 hours sleep, that means I want to go to bed at 10 p.m. So I could potentially... Oh, I actually haven't had dinner either. Do I need dinner? I mean, I might not need dinner, chat. I've had 2 packets of crisps. 3 packets of crisps. I wonder if the lawsuit has anything to do with Overwatch League shutting down, the rumors of it being CDLs last year, and if that pressured teams to make their money back. I don't know. I mean, they're not going to make their money back. That ain't happening. But yeah, I mean, the Overwatch League shut down partly due to litigation. Or at least the litigation made it obvious that it was going to shut down. It did always have like a finite, not an end date necessarily, but the initial contracts only lasted so long. And then, you know, there was a point at which, what was it, 5 years on, 6 years on? I can't actually figure out how long that was. But where they would reassess and see whether they wanted to extend the contracts or whatever. Cheese sandwich time? Yeah. Okay, wait. Bren just put a Google Maps link in the chat. Where the fuck is he? Oh, wait, this place. Wait, have I been here before? I don't know if I've been here before. Should I go and get some drinks with the others? Probably. Probably, rather than watching another VOD. I mean, I've got like an hour and a half before I want to go to bed. I think I should just leave. Okay. Yeah, so, listen, the game plan for this week is we're going to be casting. So you'll see me casting. And then after the cast, I will be doing a co-stream of T1 versus Bleed. Then after that, I will be doing more casting. And then after that, after we've done this week's casting, I'm going to be doing co-streams of EMEA. And then we'll be doing some possibly some co-streams of China as well. But very small amounts of co-streams of China and Pacific, unfortunately, because it's fucked, man. Because it's, I mean, it's just fucked. There is so little, the time zones is just screwed. Disco Elysium. I'll probably play some Disco Elysium if I'm not co-streaming. But my priority is co-streaming because it's Valorant season, baby. Okay. I mean, I didn't get kicked out this room today. There's another thing to be thankful for. So maybe we can carry on doing this. I'm tempted to not even shut down the PC. The problem is as well, though. Yeah. No one really knows that I was in this room, so it's not like I can ask to go back in the room again tomorrow. What do I do? Do I tell them that it wasn't a problem, or do I just deny ever being here? There is literally video evidence that I was here. It's pretty difficult to deny. But if I tell people that I was in here and it wasn't a problem, then maybe I stir a hornet's nest, you know? I might just keep sneaking around until someone notices. Who's online? Who's online? We've got... Oh, Baby Bay! Fuck it. Let's raid Baby Bay. He's doing VCT America's stuff. Wait, Rivington's online as well. All right, wait. Riv is watching challenges. What's Baby Bay doing? Is he watching challenges as well? No. Baby Bay's playing. You guys want to watch some challenges? I'll send you to Riv. All right. Peace. I'll be back to... Well, you'll see me tomorrow on the main broadcast, and then you'll see me tomorrow because I'll be doing the co-stream of T1 versus Bleed. All right. Bye.